anyhow, so the radio doesn't work. So I drive back. I'm like, I ain't dealing with this for a week.
Sure.
So I go, look, I might be an idiot. I go, but I can't get any audio to work. Kid walks out with me, and I'm like, I have GM cars. I actually know how to do this. He gets in, and I'm like, and this time my phone hooks up. I'm like, all right, we're ahead of where I was in my driveway. And he laughs, and I'm like, so I play my music on there, and you can see that it's playing, but there's no sound. And we're cranking the volume, and he's hitting buttons, and he can't find anything. He goes, all right. He goes, let's get you. I just got a Genesis SUV, and I'll give you an upgrade. It's a little nicer car, a little smaller. So I've got a Genesis SUV. Damn, is that a nice car? Damn, is that. I get where you come from. You drive all these caddies. You come home and drive your car. You're like, F this.
Yeah.
It's warm in here. Oh, this is going to be uncomfortable. Should have wore shorts.
Parts of Jacksonville are 21 degrees right now.
It's 43 here. I mean, it's cold, obviously, but it's warm in the studio. Whatever. All right, we are about to ready to go.
Coffin Ball, you heard me. Southern Georgia's in the teens. Parts of Jacksonville in the low 20s right now.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. For some of you trying to warm you up. Because, let's face it, we didn't move to Florida for this, okay? Those in Alabama are like, yeah, tell me about it, okay? It's cold. There's no way around it. It's cold. So this is what winter's like, huh? Many of us have forgotten, and we did so intentionally.
Yeah, it passed chilly a long time ago, David.
What is it you like to do? Is it a sock, a shoe?
A sock and shoe advisory. This is a full-on pants and jacket warning.
Boy, the Chiron color is red, although I actually think it should be blue.
Because it fits better. There's no doubt.
Because on the weather map, when it gets cold, they go blue. In fact, they go shades of blue. For those in Southwest Florida, it's what? It feels like upper 30s, but it's in the low to mid 40s.
My phone said 43 when I got up this morning. So
Tampa, St. Pete, I believe it's in the upper 30s. It feels around freezing. Mark, in Jacksonville and Jacksonville Beach and surrounding areas, temperatures are in the low 20s right now.
Good God, man.
It's not going to get above freezing till the final hour of our show today. Right around the time you start the good, the bad, and the ugly is when in Jacksonville it's supposed to get above freezing for the first time. Yes, needless to say, people are freaking out. It's football weather. Hello. No, I can't sell you on it. Getting in the swing of things. I mean, it's going to be like sleeting, I think, in New England for the Texans and the Patriots. It's going to be apparently just miserable in Chicago.
Yes.
For the Rams and the Bears. Just miserable. And one has to wonder, will it affect the Rams, who are not used to it?
They're not used to it, but explain to me how Caleb's used to this.
I understand well, but he's been in Chicago for a couple of years.
How many cold weather games? I mean, he's not played in games like this. This is new to him.
I understand. Have you seen Stafford's numbers in cold, bad weather games?
They ain't good, David.
I mean, you and I are, if we ain't the president of Matthew Stafford fan club, we're vice president, treasurer. I mean, we're listed on the board of directors. I mean, we are prominently displayed on the Matthew Stafford fan club. They're terrible. It's like, what, 1 in 10? Now, you can go back to, whether it's some of the Lions teams he played on, and he's playing on a better team now. But anyway, will it take away the decided edge that the Rams have at quarterback and in the passing game? We shall see. I mean, how's Puka Nacua going to react to playing in this? Right?
Right.
So we shall see. But, the Southeast, Florida, we are getting a taste. We are getting a taste, and some of us are not happy about it.
David, I like to garden. I don't even know if I've ever shared that on the air, but I've got my little backyard garden. I've got tomato plants, and I've got pepper plants, and I've got other crap.
All right.
I was wrapping everything in sheets and blankets yesterday. I mean, I've never done. I'm like, whatever. Well, it's not that cold. I'm like, I mean, my damn tomato plant looks like a ghost right now.
Weatherman last night looked right at me, Mark. Right at me. Okay. And I thought he was getting ready for the starting five. BST, business, sports, and tourism, because he said, folks, you need to remember the 3 Ps.
Yep. Pets, people, plants.
Okay, well, it's funny. He didn't care about people. Okay, he didn't care about people. He was into pets, he was into plants, and he was into pipes.
Pipes. That's right, your pipes.
The hell with the people.
Hell with the people.
The hell with the people. He was wanting to protect the pipes.
To hell with them.
The hell with you. Listen, you go inside, you just put me on. All right. I'm sitting there and I turn to my wife and I go, that's like BST, business, sports, and tourism. And she just looks at me and I go, never mind. So
the pipes. You're going to get piped with the weather today is what's going to happen because it's cold.
It's more than that in some places. Let me tell you.
And I know the Bills are on the road, but we've got a friend of mine, but you've met him over the years because you did a bunch of shows at his bar.
Sure.
He sent me a text. Jim Blinko, who lives in Niagara Falls, New York, and he sent me a text yesterday because this is where I felt a little better. He's like, when's the last time you drove in this? And I mean, it snowed. It's coming at him. And it's bad because I'm watching the mailboxes as he's driving by, and there's like 8 inches of snow on the mailboxes. I'm like, all right, at least I don't have that. So, yes, it is cold.
I don't want to say it's bad, but, when you turn to your phone and it says Foxborough 19, Jacksonville 23, I know.
Ooh.
3 Ps, baby.
Your wife ain't leaving the house all day, is she?
Oh, no, this is hysterical, okay? So my wife hates the cold. It's why we're in Florida. All right. So first off, she's been on a diatribe for 2 days because, we've had 2 days of warning that this was coming. So she's watching the news and she's fetching up a storm. Mark, we've been here a little over 3 years now. She's never had something to do earlier in the morning than this morning. She's going to be outside, I think, in an hour.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Look, and I know you don't need it. We don't need to share it with everybody else. If you could, and it's a commercial break, I would like a picture of the layers because I'm imagining her. I don't think you'll be able to see her face when she leaves the house, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. No, she's going to look like the Michelin Man.
Right.
Okay, walking outside. Yeah, absolutely. And, it's a healthy walk to the designated parking spot where her car is. See, she didn't want to park it close. I wanted to give her the spot that was close, but that's under the overhang. And I will say, first day she was here, backing out, she took a side view mirror right off the thing. So she's like, I want to park out there where there's no, I'm like, oh okay.
You may have to, during a break, run, get the car, pull it right in front of where the sidewalk is, and leave it running with the heat on for her.
I'd offer to.
I know you would.
But
I did mock. So last night, the daughter was supposed to have a soccer practice. It was at 6:00. Now, at 6:00, it wasn't that cold. It was chilly. And the coach puts out a message to everybody on an app that we use that practice is canceled because of the weather. And I waited and, I'm like, how do you answer this? And LOL, I have figured out, if you add LOL to a text or a message, that should bode that you're being sarcastic.
Yes.
And if it doesn't, it's on them. At that point, to me, it's on them. But I merely, because he's born and raised in Florida. And I said, did we cancel practice for the girls or the parents and coaches that were born in Florida?
That's a fair question, by the way.
And I opened the floodgates because there was one other comment, a thank you from one parent, and then I come off the top rope, and then one after another. They're like, everybody was waiting. Who's going to be the what to make a comment? Yours truly. You're welcome.
That's how we operate. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So we get it. It's a cool/cold one today. And, fortunately, there's no precipitation, right?
No.
Okay. I haven't gone outside here, but I don't think we're having to scrape any windows or anything. I hope not. So
I'd like you to get snow in Jacksonville.
I'd have no problem with it.
If it's going to be this cold, give me some precipitation, let it snow a little bit, and really freak everybody out.
I mean,
a couple of years ago, they got it. It was in like Pensacola and Tallahassee, and Pensacola Beach was full of snow. I remember they got blasted. It was hysterical.
I think it was around Christmas 2022 where it happened. Yeah. By the way, not in Tampa, St. Pete, and Southwest Florida, but apparently in 3 days, the temperature is going to be exactly the same here in Jacksonville. Apparently, they're having another morning where the lows are in the 20s in 3 days. So, suck it up, Buttercup. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm scheduled to tee up today. And it says it's going to be 60 by the time I tee off. So I guess I'll have to play, because if it was going to be like this, there was no chance of me going out in this.
Well, it is the good thing in Florida. Once you get above 9 a.m., it warms up quickly. Okay, but it is starting from an unusually cold spot this morning. So bundle up. Be careful. Boy, and that steering wheel, it'll be colder than you haven't. In a lot of places, that steering wheel's never been this cold.
Heated seats this morning, David, for the 2-minute drive.
There you go.
Adam working. But it is a football Friday, a great weekend of football. I don't know if it's possible for this weekend to live up to what we got between Miami and Ole Miss, and then the first, 4 games of wild card weekend.
Right.
I mean, if we get 60% of that, I would be ecstatic. I really would.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, great games. I mean, 3 games with multiple lead changes in the fourth quarter. That doesn't happen. I hope it happens again. I'm rooting for it, but I don't know how you can expect to have a repeat of last weekend. We will do our best to take you everywhere we can. We'll go to Boston, Chicago, Buffalo, and we'll talk Niners as well all today. Football Friday edition, Miller and Moulton. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I think you can smell when rain's coming, Canada Relief. Down here you can. I'm telling you. National Fig Newton Day.
Oh,
Last
wow.
time you've seen a fig Newton, let alone had one.
Years. My mother used to like them.
We need to either put all 4 games up or come up with a good poll question.
Well, that's where I was going to go next segment.
Look at you. Oh, I didn't even look. I got to check. There's one important thing to check here. I have not checked the most important score of the day.
No, system play lost.
Zags won big.
They covered by like 3.
Yeah, 21.
So 22-18. We're 55%.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour, the starting 5 in a little more than 15 minutes time. We do have a heck of a show lined up for you. Try to give you, well, a preview of each of the 4 playoff games with a beat person, a podcaster who covers at least one of the teams involved in all 4 games. Those interviews begin in a little more than an hour and go right on into the final hour of our show. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. No Pat Kerwin today. If you weren't with us yesterday, he's traveling today. He had to move his Friday appearance up to yesterday. In fact, I don't think he's going to be with us Tuesday either. So we're going to have Pat, I don't know. That's a Monday, Wednesday, sometime next week. But anyway, no Pat Kerwin today. So we got 4 playoff games. And usually all 4 home teams are favored. That's not the case this week because the Rams are the road team in Chicago against the 2-seeded Bears, and the Rams are favored. But Mark, when is the last time, and this is considered the 2025 playoffs, even though obviously they're taking place in January of 26. So when I ask you, when was the last time that all 4 home teams won in a divisional round? How far back do you think you have to go?
2014.
No, not quite that far, but you're in the neighborhood. 2018 season.
Okay. It doesn't happen often. That's why I went back a ways. I mean, we've kind of gone over this time of year before, and there have been a lot of 2-2s, but 3-1's pretty common.
3-1 is very common. In fact, the last 6 seasons in which at least one of the home teams lost, in 5 of the 6, it was only 1. So usually it's very simple. Pick the one that's going to lose. Because last year, all right, it was 3 out of 4. The road team was Washington, winning in Detroit. The year before, it was 3 out of 4 home teams won. The road team, the Chiefs, going into Buffalo and beating the Bills. And then they went into Baltimore and beat the Ravens.
Right. Well, we know Buffalo wasn't the road team that won.
No, You're right. The year before, 3 out of 4 home teams won. You know who the home team was that lost? Buffalo. Joe Burrow and the Bengals went in and won before then losing in the last seconds to Kansas City in the AFC title game. Okay. 2021 season was the freak out, if you will, in which damn near all 4 road teams won. All right. Cincinnati went into Tennessee. That was the year it was all lined up for the Titans, and Ryan Tannehill had 4 turnovers, and Tennessee hasn't recovered. All right. San Francisco went into Green Bay, the last great Aaron Rodgers team in Green Bay, and stunned them in a low-scoring divisional round. And the Rams hit the big pass play to Cooper Kupp when Todd Bowles went with an all-out blitz late. All right, they kicked the field goal and they walked off the defending champion Bucks. And the only home team to win was the Bills in the the Chiefs in the 13-second game.
Oh, wow.
So we nearly had 4 road divisional winners 4 seasons ago. But, take my word on it. In 2020, the Bucks going into New Orleans, the only road team that won. In 2019, the Titans and Derrick Henry going into Baltimore and shocking the top-seeded Ravens and Lamar. Okay, 2018 season, we ended up with 1 versus 2 in the conference championship games. So 7 years later, do we end up with 1 versus 2? My guess is everybody's going to go, well, I'll take the Rams over the Bears. Yeah, it's understandable. They're favored. 1 more games in the regular season. But for what it's worth, for a while now, this is a 6-year run where it's happened 5 out of 6 seasons, we only get 1 road team to win this weekend. Now, I don't know if you want to post the question because it just seems too obvious that everyone's going to pick the Rams. But
there are plenty of people that'll pick Buffalo. Of the game, the game that's sneaky to me is Houston.
Okay.
Because that defense is really, really good.
Really good.
And I've just had this thought, and I'm not rooting against the Patriots, but we've talked about it. They've not played a lot of good teams. Now, do you think that the Texans' defense is 7 points better than the Chargers' defense? 4 points better, 3 points better than the Chargers' defense. They only got 17 on the Chargers. But, you know what my point is here.
Right.
Because the Houston offense is not good. And I'll give the Patriot defense all the credit in the world. How many points does Houston have to score to win? And it's a game that's not going to be the most appealing game to a lot of fans. We talked about it a little bit with Pat yesterday. David, right now, if I told you New England or Houston gets to 17, do you think that's enough?
I do, because I don't think both will get to 17.
Right.
So I do think 17 will be the winning score. But I see where you're going at. Didn't they end up with, did they score 16 or 17, the Patriots? I forgot. Did they kick the extra point after scoring the touchdown when they were up 9-3, or did they go for 2?
For some reason, I thought, oh, you're right, 16-3.
Okay, and so the point you're trying to make, if the Houston defense is 3 points better, now we've held New England to 13. Can Houston get to 14? So I see where you're coming from here. You're kind of like, Chargers defense is good. It's not the Houston defense. If they can hold them to 3 less. Now, once again, though, New England.
New England's defense is good, and Houston is offensively challenged. I get it.
Right.
The game I'm most sure on, which means you should probably bet everything you can on the 49ers, is that Seattle's going to win.
Although a very interesting development yesterday in which Sam Darnold suffered an injury at practice. He's doing a drill, rolling to his left, throws the ball, feels pain in his left side. Talks to the, head coach and the trainers, and they shut him down. And they listed on the injury report, he's strained an oblique.
Not
Listed as
good.
questionable. Listen, I'll be curious. Does he do anything today? Remember, the game's not Sunday. Game's Saturday. Does he do anything at all today?
And Brock Purdy's been pretty good against Seattle. And I think Shanahan might be the best coach that's left. A lot of you would say Sean Payton, and you might be right. There's a lot of good coaches. There really are some excellent coaches. But that guy in San Francisco, what he's done with this group this year, I think is worthy of discussion for Coach of the Year. I don't think he'll get it, but I think you could make a compelling case for Shanahan to be the Coach of the Year this season.
I think he would have won it if they had won the regular season finale. I think if he had been the 1 seed, if they had beaten Seattle, I think he would have won Coach of the Year. He would have moved ahead of Vrabel and Cohen and Peyton and anybody else. But I think he's going to finish 3rd or 4th. And a lot of people think this is the best coaching job he's ever done, which is saying something because he's gone to like 4 NFC championship games and 2 Super Bowls.
And obviously, I didn't even mention McVay in L.A. I mean, there are some great coaches left in the playoffs. It's not a surprise.
So just wanted to throw that out there. Recent history says 3 of the 4 home teams win. Who doesn't?
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Lee County Economic Development will release its 2025 annual report on February 5th at their annual meeting. It's a powerful look at our local economy, highlighting key data, emerging trends, and performance from the past year. The report covers major industries, workforce initiatives, business growth, and partnerships that drive Lee County forward. For more information about the annual meeting and the Economic Development Office, visit LeeCountyBusiness.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Smoke Dog, hope everything's okay. Welcome back. My wife is cursing like the proverbial Navy sailor. It is spectacular. No, Canada Relief, I don't. Don't have to, Spitz. Don't have to. But what I do conveniently do is I tell her what the temperature is in Southwest Florida whenever there's a situation. I go, well, it's 13 degrees cooler or warmer. And yeah, we talked about the PGA Tour getting underway yesterday. Smoke Dog, I'm glad you're doing.
I tried to find it. I
Better.
can't find it. I'm driving in, listening to the Sports Center, the Anthony Black dunk that put him up. I think it's the Orlando Magic radio guy, and I don't know because I don't know what broadcast it was. He goes international incident, and I can't find the call. I've got the dunk, but it's the NBA TV call, and it's not the same call.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, Nick Sabato, right? With a Bills angle of the Bills-Broncos playoff game, which is the first one on tap tomorrow. And Nick is our first guest on the show today, 1 hour from now. Right now, it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Brought to you by Lee County, Florida, where it's 43 degrees right now? And trust me, to the folks in Duval, that's a heat wave. Officially 28 right now, Mark. 28 degrees where I am. But Lee County, Florida, building a better community through BST, business, sports, and tourism. You know, funny, Mark, supposedly it's official. It's done. John Harbaugh is going to be the new coach of the Giants.
Right.
They don't have a contract. Supposedly, it's 24 hours now. It's gone by. Now, he's canceled everything with everybody else. He was supposed to spend the day yesterday with the Titans. That didn't happen. He was supposed to spend the weekend with the Falcons. It's not happening. But It's not official yet, but everyone is moving forward as if John Harbaugh is the new Grand Poobah of the New York Giants. Sam Darnold, we mentioned it last segment, suffered an oblique injury on his left side in practice yesterday. He and the Seahawks said, he'll play Saturday, but he did leave practice after the injury, and we'll be curious if he does anything. Is he limited today, or is he not part of today? Remember, the game is Saturday. Eagles indicating they are not going to trade wide receiver A.J. Brown. We'll see about that. But Howie Roseman said, quote, hard to find great players like Brown, unquote. You're right. You had to give up a first rounder to do so. But I'm with Howie. I changed the offensive coordinator. Get the ball to him a little bit more. He should be fine. Take one more crack at it with this core, and then probably have some roster situations after the 2026 season, but we'll see. Mike McDaniel, by the way, who's listed as one of the top two contenders for the offensive coordinator job in Philadelphia, along with former Giants coach Brian Daboll. Mike McDaniel interviewed in Baltimore yesterday to replace John Harbaugh. It is fascinating how highly McDaniel is regarded around the league in this hiring cycle. He's already had 2 head coaching interviews, Mark, and yet Dolph fans who've watched him for 4 years couldn't light him on fire and drive him to the airport fast enough.
Yes, with good reason.
But there's a lot of people apparently interested in his services. He's apparently on the list to be the OC in Tampa. We shall see. Ratings are in, Mark. Monday Night Football did 29 million. Second most watched wild card playoff game in ABC history. Only Brady's swan song 3 years ago against the Cowboys outdrew it. That did in the low 30s. We'll say Monday Night Football beats Sunday Night Football. That never happens.
No, it does not.
So that was interesting. Baseball. Speaking of interesting, so Kyle Tucker, remember, he was probably going to the Mets. I mean, they reportedly offered him $50 million, and people thought the Mets were bat blank crazy. Yeah, Kyle Tucker signed with the Dodgers overnight because the Dodgers gave him $60 a year. 60. He's like a 285 hitter with 30 homers, and he's a very good outfielder. He's a very good player. Mark, they gave him 4 for $240.
Look, this is, and I will say quickly, this is a contract. Again, when these owners meet and people think they're gonna try to get a salary cap, how do you do it?
Oh, no, there are people who, when they heard this one, said, well, there's definitely not going to be a 2027 season now. Forget the players.
Thank you.
Players.
That's what we've been telling you for, my goodness, a year. The owners are so far with the Dodgers doing this. They are just flipping the bird. They're giving the Eli to basically every small market team that there is.
All right. I got to make sure I got this right. So the Ohtani and Tucker average annual contract, 70 and 60, is more money than 9 teams' payrolls were last year, and it would have been 10, but the Royals spent $1,500 more. By the way, Dodgers not doing anything illegal. They're not breaking a single rule. They're just putting their money where their mouth is. Their payroll now on paper is $420 million. They're paying over $200 million in tax.
That's so their $400 million is really $600 million, and the small market teams are all cashing in on the Dodgers. It's how the Pirates make money.
Tucker has opt-outs after year 2 and year 3. He turns 29 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Kyle. The Rays made an interesting trade, and by interesting, I don't fully understand it. They sent Josh Lowe to the Angels in a 3-team deal with the Reds. Rays get infielder Gavin Lux and right-handed pitcher Chris Clark in the trade. So, Mark, they've traded both Brandon Lau and Josh Lowe.
After we finally figured out who the hell which was which?
Right.
Son of a.
Exactly. I will say the Rays are making moves which don't appear to make them better on paper, but are saving them money. And this is something the old ownership did.
Yeah,
And
I don't know what to tell you, David. The next 2 years don't matter for the Rays. Get your team right for when you open the stadium.
Well, they got 3 more years in the Trop, and you're right. They're hoping opening day 2029 is in Tampa somewhere. All right, college hoops. The Feds held the presser yesterday. That's never good for a sport, by the way. I'll just give you a little hint. If the federal government is holding a press conference, unless I don't count the president of the United States at the White House entertaining a team that won a title from the year before. That's kind of a ceremony. That's an event.
That is a ceremony, David. You're right. That's
That
like
doesn't
foreign
count.
dignitary coming for dinner. That's
Right.
just that's a celebratory thing.
Right. That's what President Trump did with the Florida Panthers yesterday. That's not what the Feds did when announcing a point-shaving college basketball scandal involving 39 players on 17 schools, most of them smaller schools, none in Florida. Alabama State, a historically black college in Montgomery, Alabama, was listed. So the biggest schools listed were DePaul, St. Louis, and Tulane. All right. But basically, here's the deal. The Fed said, yeah, the point shaving's not going to come from the bigger schools anymore because those guys are already making enough money.
Bingo. Look at, you read this story, it makes all the sense in the world. Where are you going to be able to get a guy? Eastern Michigan, Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
I mean,
4 of the players who were named, by the way, are currently active. Now, all of the point shaving happened before this season. It happened in the 24 season and the 25 season. But 4 of the players are currently active, including Simeon Cottle, who's the current Conference USA Player of the Year and who scored 5 late points to help Kennesaw State beat FIU 2 nights ago. He's averaging 20 points a game. The bribes, by the way, the Feds claim were all between $10,000 and $30,000. And the Feds said, there's going to be more of this. This whole thing started with the Chinese Basketball Association. It started with one guy over there and then made its way to the States and the college ranks. College hoop, Gonzaga won and covered against Washington State. So that was a system loss for us. The Zags are 18-1. Jacksonville blew a 10-point halftime lead, lost at Central Arkansas 62-60. FGCU's been a disappointment so far this year. They were supposed to be.
You thought they were one of the best 3 teams in the conference.
Yeah, and they're tied for last right now. 1-4 in conference play. They got beat by Queens at home by 11. Now Queens is currently in first, but still, FGCU was a betting favorite and lost by 11. North Florida picked up their first conference win. They went on the road and beat North Alabama 105-91. FAU is first in the American. They beat Wichita State by 18. And give it up to Doug Gottlieb in Green Bay. He's second in the Horizon, went on the road and won by 15 last night. We gave him a lot of grief last year. Want to give him some credit this year. NBA over in Berlin, first ever games there. Franz Wagner with 18 points, 9 rebounds, came back from injury. Magic rallied to beat the Grizz, 118-111.
An amazing dunk by Anthony Black in that game. Amazing.
What was it described as?
And I tried so hard to find it. I only could find the NBA TV call this morning. I think it's the radio announcer for the Magic that described it as an international incident.
That's our buddy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Celtics were down 10 going to the 4th, rallied to beat the Heat, 119-114 in Miami. Jimmy Butler with 32. Warriors over the Knicks by 13. Detroit edged Phoenix, two teams who had a bunch of guys who didn't play, 108-105. OKC, they found their mojo. All right, they opened up a 2-point game in the fourth quarter and beat Houston in Houston by 20. LaMelo Ball with 30, including 9 threes. Charlotte over the Lakers, 135-117. Wemby with 22 and 10. Spurs over the Bucks by 18. Klay Thompson, remember him? He had 26. Mavs beat the Jazz by 22. And Portland took a close game and blew it open in the fourth and beat Atlanta 117-101. 10 games in the NHL last night. 10. Crosby, a goal and an assist. The goal was number 650. Pittsburgh doubled up Philly 6-3. Taze Thompson had himself a game. 3 goals and 2 helpers. Buffalo 5-3 over Montreal. San Jose with 3 in the second beat the Caps 3-2. Columbus has won 3 in a row. Works every time, Mark, doesn't it? Fire your coach, come in, they win 2-3. It's unbelievable. Blue Jackets 4-1 over Vancouver. In Boston, they retired Zdeno Chara's number 33, and the joint was alive. And the Bruins jumped all over the Kraken and beat them 4-2. Winnipeg 6-2 over Minnesota. Calgary 3-1 over the Hawks. Utah 2-1 over the Stars. Sorokin with his 5th shutout of the year. And they did it in Edmonton. Islanders 1-0 over the Oilers. And Vegas down 5-3 in the third, scored with 7 seconds left to tie it. Won it in overtime over Toronto 6-5. And finally, PGA Tour season underway in Hawaii. Nick Taylor, the defending champ, well, he's tied for the first round lead with Kevin Roy. They're both 8 under. They have a 1-shot lead. By the way, did you hear the story about Vijay Singh?
Used his lifetime earnings to get an exemption for this year. You have a one-time thing with your lifetime money where you can get your, basically keep your card for a year. He used it this year.
He's 63 next month, and Vijay shot a 2 under. Right now he's tied for 41, threatening to make the cut. In Hawaii, he's tied with Spieth, for goodness sakes. But yes, Singh, and I thought he had used it once before, but they redid the rules this year, and he got basically to do it again. How about that?
Some people in the golf world aren't happy about that, like taking a spot away. And I don't know what to tell you.
You made the rules.
First off, you made the rules. But secondly, you've got the non-signature events. He's actually a name in some of these non-signature events.
You know what? The golfers should realize, you know who he's going to be? He's going to be Mr. Thursday, Friday. Do you know how much attention VJ is going to get on Fridays on the Golf Channel about whether or not the old man's going to make the cut? Anyway, at 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. Brought to you by Lee County, Florida, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
We have not 1, but 2 poll questions up this morning. I liked where David was going with the road team, so damn it, I made 2. 1, which road team has the best chance to win out of the 4, and how many road teams will win? I went 0, 1, 2, and 3. I didn't make 4 an option. Miller and Moulton, a Football Friday. Thanks so much for listening.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. SleepApnea.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Play all night, play all day. Experience more in paradise. At Seminole Casino Hotel, we're bringing you more. With the newest slots, action-packed table games, sports betting, the hottest entertainment, and a variety of award-winning restaurants. Expect more with live craps, roulette, and blackjack 24/7. And over 1,400 of the most popular slot machines. This is the place where paradise never ends. This is Seminole Casino Hotel. Minutes away from more. For more information, visit moreinparadise.com. Must be 21 play slots and table games. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? You mean I can't say soup? Whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Jets, I think that you are on to something. I really do. They've got to smother the run. They need Nix to throw it 30 times. I mean, that's the recipe, if you will. I hope all the iguanas jump from trees. And remember, they're alive, and when they drop, kill them. They're an invasive species. They're no good. They're dirty, rotten, filthy lizards. I hope they're running around my golf course shooting those bastards this morning. Yeah, that's right. I called them bastards. Lee will be back at some. I mean, he kind of books himself when it's the postseason, and these are the games he's given his clients. There's only 5 games. He's not really going to come on and give you the 5 games he's given his clients. So he'll be on before the Super Bowl, and that'll be it. It's been this way with Lee for 15, as long as we've had him, which we've had him as long as I think David and I have been together. By the way, did you watch those 2 videos I sent you yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Did you laugh out loud?
I did.
Did you show your wife?
No.
Because I mean, it's just funny. It's just good, clean fun. He does another one. I'll have to find it and send it to you. Basically, where he's an angel while Jesus is being born. And the best line is like, there'll be songs. And Mary says, about Jesus? And his response is, yeah, some boring ones. Yeah, I think we've got two guys at our golf course that use like I want to say the air pellet guns, if you will, and whack the iguanas. I'm all for iguana killing. Dare I say iguana murder? I just keep singing the song Mexican Radio in my head. Eating barbecued iguana.
Oh.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
And even though it's a Football Friday, we had a college basketball point shaving scandal yesterday. And the Dodgers signed the number 1 free agent in all of baseball this offseason.
By, wait for it, outspending every other team. And it wasn't close.
The Dodgers payroll is $421 million right now. Their luxury tax is well over $200 million. The Dodgers are spending.
Saying, damn,
right.
There's a problem.
The richest owner in baseball is looking at the Dodgers going, I don't think I can compete with that. Yes. And the Dodgers aren't doing a single thing wrong, not breaking a rule. Here's the other thing. They're also having to forfeit a whole bunch of draft picks because they're over the tax and they're signing free agents with qualifying offers. And so they're like not going to have like, they have like their first round pick in next year's draft, and that's it. And they don't have like another pick till like round 7 or 8. And the Dodgers are like, who gives a blank? Besides, we ain't playing in 2027.
And they're not. I mean, I know we're kind of beating a dead horse here, but there are a lot of you that like baseball. In fact, there are a lot of you, I think, in the last 2 years, and I think I would raise my hand to this, that have come back to baseball. The pitch clock has won a lot of people over. I'm one of those people.
They've taken over a half hour off the time of a game. I mean, the games were over 3 hours, and now they're just over 2.5. I mean, what have we said? Soccer is 2 hours. Hockey is like 2:20. One of the things college hoop is 2:10, 2:15. It's getting a little longer, by the way. They got to do one of two things. Either not stop scheduling games 2 hours apart or, just give them a little more leeway. But anyway, 2.5 hours, you get a full baseball game in. Okay, cool. Thanks. Appreciate it.
And, I went to a Rays game. I wanted to see one in Steinbrenner Field just because it would be a cool atmosphere. And I've mentioned this, I can't get my daughter to sit down and watch any game with me except hockey. She likes the fights. But she'll go to a hockey game. We've been to the minor league team here, Southwest Florida, the Everblades, and she loves it. She loved being at the baseball game. She likes to go. And I'm bummed out about this baseball thing because it's the problem is, and we keep saying it, but I don't know how they're going to get the owners on the same page.
I have no idea.
That's their job. Manfred's most difficult job to me is not getting the two sides to agree. It's getting the owners to put forth a contract towards the players that the owners can agree on.
And not to get too bogged down in details, but how in the world, let's just say they come to some sort of agreement on a cap. The Dodgers are going to look and go, Well, how does this work for us?
When do we have to be at it? 2030? 2032? I mean, because the Ohtani contract's what, 10 years?
Well, forget it. Here's the funny thing about Ohtani. What's it? $2 million a year on the books right now for Ohtani?
But if it were a cap, the whole thing would count. The deferred money would count on a cap. It would have to, David.
Well, don't know about that.
How could it not?
Well, first off, the Dodgers aren't going to agree to it. There's a few other teams who defer money. I don't know if they're going to agree to it. But I mean,
that's the long time. That's the long-term IR hockey thing, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But everybody can use that in hockey. You have to be flush with cash to use it in baseball, and
Correct.
not every team has that luxury.
No, not at all. But what's going to count against the cap? And by the way, the players are 100% against the cap. So the owners are going to have a civil war over a cap. Then they're going to agree to some sort of cap. They're going to take it to the players, and the players are going to go, well, you've completely wasted your time. The answer is no. And the owners are going to go, yeah, but no. It's just, no. Might as well start from zero, boys. We're not agreeing to a cap of any kind.
And, one of our listeners on YouTube says, grandfather everything in, and that's simple. Well, it's not that simple because baseball has some of the longest contracts of any sport. And the CBA would be, I mean, if they get a really good CBA, David, help me out here. How many years would it be? 10?
Oh, that would be an eternity.
Right.
No.
I mean, more than likely it would be 5 to 7, right?
Yeah, and I was even going to say 4 to 6. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just settle at 5 years, just for sake of argument.
Right.
Well, that wouldn't even cover these long contracts that guys are signing.
In fact,
Soto with the Mets. Ohtani. I mean, just think about the guys that have signed 10-year deals, if you will. They're only in year 2 of those deals.
And remember, Ohtani's 10 years on the books and then 10 years deferred. And the deferred is 68 a year. The money on the books now is 2. I don't want to bore people, but this is the Dodgers lineup right now. Remember, they've won the last 2 World Series. I think this is great for baseball in this sense. There is now clearly a team with the black hat. I mean, there is now clearly a team that the rest of the sport is to root against. I think that's great for a league.
I agree, except for the fact that when healthy, they appear to be unbeatable.
Well, why? Ohtani's leading off. Mookie Betts is hitting second. Freddie Freeman's hitting third. Kyle Tucker's playing right field and hitting fourth. Will Smith, the catcher, is batting fifth. See, I think they may move that around to get the right-handed Smith behind.
Now you're killing us, okay?
I know. I'm just, come on, a little funny. I'm glad you could see the humor in that. Max Muncy is hitting sixth, playing third. Teoscar Hernandez is playing left field and batting seventh.
All-star, by the way, in case you were wondering, Teoscar.
Yes.
Just letting you know.
Andy Pagas, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He's a terrific defensive center fielder. He's batting eighth, and Tommy Edmonds going to play second. But the first 7 guys in that lineup are lethal.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way. In this day and age in sports, unless it's your team, it's difficult to name 3 or 4 players from any team in their starting lineup. But unless you're into that sport. I mean, that's 7 guys that are damn near. Maybe Teoscar Hernandez isn't. It's 6 guys that are damn near household names in the sport.
So you go, well, maybe the Dodgers pitching isn't any good. Oh, okay, Yamamoto's their ace.
Which they outbid everyone to get him from Japan.
Right. Deferred money involved in that deal, too. Blake Snell's the number 2 starter.
Oh, he was a free agent recently, wasn't he?
Ohtani is their number 3 pitcher.
Their number 3.
Hell, Tyler Glasnow is their number 4 starter. And Sasaki is their number 5 starter. And remember, they just signed the best closer in baseball, Edwin Diaz, outbidding the Mets. So the Mets have been willing to pay Edwin Diaz $23 million a year. No one's ever paid a closer more. Dodgers outbid him. Mets were willing to give Kyle Tucker $50 million a year for 4 years. And the Dodgers said, oh, we can do better than that.
The poor Yankees.
Exactly. And the Yankees, I will say this. Yankee fans are looking at the Dodgers and they're calling into FAN radio this morning going, that's how we should be.
Oh,
Line
yeah.
up all the good players.
And you know what? You're the only Met fan not saying the same thing about them. You know, and here the Cubs have made a couple of good moves, signed a couple of good players, and Cubs fans going, what the blank?
Cubs fans are going, we're only spending half on our payroll that you're spending on yours, and that's pre-tax.
I mean, the Phillies, they spend a bunch of money, and they've got a pretty damn good roster. So
apparently the Dodgers have like over $2 billion in deferred money, I guess, out there. And that's like more than just about every team is worth. Remember, the Twins can't get sold. Twins are looking for like 1.7. The Mets, I think, are still the team that sold for the most money. They sold for like 2.3.
And that mainly is because one of the richest humans in the United States is a diehard fan and was willing to spend damn near anything to buy his childhood favorite team.
Although he did have to outbid A-Rod and J-Lo. And Mets fans are eternally grateful that he did. Because this just in. She's gone from A-Rod to Affleck, and she's already, that would have been messy. And I love me my diva wide receivers and my J-Lo. I do.
J-Lo, even in that horrendous dress she wore to the Golden Globes, that see-through dress that fortunately covered her nipples.
Yes, and not much else.
No, it did not.
No. She's as old as you, by the way.
I know, and she looks great for 56. But she shouldn't be wearing that dress at 56.
So
okay?
you don't show that to your wife and you go, so Saturday night? No, Naples? No?
You know, quick sidebar. We had I put it on about 15 minutes before on the side TV. I'm watching a video on Bob Weir on TikTok, and she yelled at me to turn up the Golden Globes pregame to watch the interview. I walked out of the room. I walked back in. I go, do you even know who they were interviewing? Do you even have a clue? And you shushed me for it as I'm watching a Bob Weir story about he and Joe Strummer drinking on the rooftop of a hotel. Enough already. Neither here nor there. We've got 2 poll questions up. Typically, 3 home teams will win this weekend. Which road team has the best chance to win? No one is yet to vote for the San Francisco 49ers. And how many road teams will win? I went 0, 1, 2, 3. I don't think all 4 will win. Right now, 2 getting 2/3 of the vote. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller _ Moulton on X. If you're not a subscriber to X, you can always text us your answers on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Pelican Roofing of Florida, 1-866-9-PELICAN. 1-866-9-PELICAN. The roofing choice of Miller and Moulton. Statewide, commercial, residential. Would love to hear from you, whether it's the text line, whether it's the Twitch or YouTube chat room. Thanks for listening on a Football Friday. Miller and Moulton. We'll start getting into the games next.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332516.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That picture's fantastic.
She then texted me from the car, 2 expletives in the text.
I'm telling you, when they canceled the soccer practice because of cold, I'm like, what in the hell?
As the sun was setting yesterday, the temperatures were in the mid-40s. And I'm like, it's going to get interesting. Fortunately, there's no wind in the 904 right now.
Yes, RCB, you're exactly right. Are you sure, Javier? Might give Canada a better shot. 20 and carry, huh?
In Voices Carry, North Carolina.
Do you know, and I didn't even know this at the time, I can't think of the song, but that Amy Mann from that band, Till Tuesday there, she did backup on a Rush album, a couple of Rush songs. I think it's Time Stand Still is the song. They brought her in, and she did backup on that. I thought she was hot in the day. Not gonna chick singers. If you were a female singer, I had a crush on you. It really didn't matter who you were. Susanna Hoff from the Bengals. Alanis Morissette. Oh, Alanis still looks pretty good.
Sheryl Crow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, so I remember seeing Sheryl Crow on Letterman, and the same night he had on Carmen Electra. And Carmen Electra had just taken over from Jenny McCarthy on the MTV show, and she'd done the centerfold, and Letterman's got the centerfold, and he's being Letterman. And she came on and sang, and she was dressed to the nines, and then she sat down basically to kind of say, yep, I'm hot, I sing, and I'm intelligent and can carry on a conversation too. It's like I'm a triple threat, David. You had on a hot woman. I got all of it here. Just so you know. No, not Grace Slick. Not a Grace Slick fan at all. Not a Jefferson Starship Airplane, the Starship. They kind of peaked with about 2 songs in the 70s. Somebody that was, isn't it you? Somebody to Love, I think, is the one really good song. And obviously White Rabbit was a big hit, but look at you going Lita Ford, going the heavy metal chick. No, DC. No, she could not. He had her on because she was hosting. I want to say she took over whatever the show Jenny McCarthy was on at MTV. And she was like the next female, and she was on promoting that. And then Sheryl Crow sang at the end. Definitely young Ann Wilson. Old Ann Wilson's not that bad either.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Nick Sabato covers the Bills for the Niagara Gazette. He hosts a Bills Press Box podcast. He'll join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. We'll head to Boston in the 8 a.m. Eastern hour. Tim McKone, little Patriots-Texans talk. Scott Lewis will head to Chi-Town. He's got the 79th and Hallis podcast covering the Bears. And even in the bonus hour, Al Sacco covers the Niners. I'll say this. I think under Kyle Shanahan, Mark, when the Niners make the playoffs, they win 2 games. I mean, they've had, I think, 3 seasons under Kyle Shanahan where they've, had injuries. Remember, Garoppolo got hurt on them a couple times. And, last year they had all the injuries and finished last. So, he's had, I think, 3 seasons where he's missed the playoffs entirely. But when they make the playoffs, they usually go to the NFC Championship game at least.
Well, Brock Purdy at Seattle is perfect. He's 4-0 at Seattle. For what it's worth.
About that?
Little tidbit for you there.
How
all right, David.
That?
Let me just ask you just a very simple question. 4 games. And, the biggest spread is 7 with Seattle and San Francisco. A couple of tight spreads. And what game, if I were to say we're going to get one great game, what game is it? Hello, is this on?
I'm thinking, which I know is not good for radio.
Thank you.
Took just a touch longer than normal.
Because we are on radio, so I thought
I'm going through the games. Like, I actually don't think we're going to get a good Saturday. So I'm really debating between the two. See, I think Houston and New England is going to be fairly close throughout. It's just going to stylistically turn a lot of people off. And, Mark, I got to say this. Do I think the Bears are out over their skis? Yeah. Do I think the Bears, quite frankly, could have a huge back-to-earth season next year? Because I do think Chicago's having a Washington Commanders type season. I mean, there were all these wild comebacks, all these crazy happenings in games, and that seemingly happened for Washington all year last year.
It also, and look, it's hard to say this because maybe they come right back next year, but they're also having what Kansas City had a year ago. I mean, the Chiefs won every close game, all the way to the Super Bowl. They won every close game.
Remember?
And you wondered, talent-wise, are they as good as the record? And this year it proved that they weren't. And they
Right.
lost all those games this year.
Because they went 11-0 in one-score games last year. 11-0. And obviously that's tough to duplicate. But I'll say this, Mark. The Bears play exciting games. You
They
know,
do.
they're a flawed team, but their flaws make them very compelling. And goodness knows, so what if they're down 10, 14 points late? I mean, the Bears will laugh and go, well, hell, that's been our whole season. We're comfortable here.
Well, and, I was talking with a buddy yesterday, and it doesn't matter the sport. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Of the, the four major sports, I can't really say this in soccer because there's not enough scoring. But in, basketball, baseball, hockey, football, there is something about confidence in winning. And certain teams, when they typically don't win close games or they're behind, whether they admit it or not, the mentality starts to slip. And that's, blank, here we go again type stuff. Well, obviously this year in Chicago, they have none of that. There's no lead that they don't think that they can overcome. They are never going to have a defeatist attitude, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. They're going to keep chugging along. I will question you on something you said yesterday. I thought about this a lot. And not enough that I was going to bother you during the day. I mean, I thought I'd save it since we do talk for 4 hours. But
you're like, I can get at least half a segment out of this.
Right, exactly. And at the end of the day, what are we trying to do here? Fill segments. You said you believe that Chicago's running game, and you made it at least seem to me, and stop me if I'm wrong, but you made it seem that Chicago's running game is far superior to that of the Rams. And I would really question that. I actually think the Rams have the better running game. I'll take the Rams running back room over the Chicago running back room.
Well, I also include Caleb when talking about the Bears running game, though. Okay. Caleb's ability to scramble out of the pocket is a problem for defense.
You don't think Matthew Stafford can scramble?
And so I do include those 30 to 40 yards that I think Caleb is going to contribute to the cause during the course of the game. But listen, I like Kieran Williams, who, by the way, has the occasional fumbling problem. That's playing on the West Coast in virtual dome-like settings. If he fumbles the ball occasionally playing on the West Coast, are we sure he's not going to put the ball on the ground at least once Sunday night? I mean, it's going to be cold. There, a lot of players are going to play in games. They had never played in a game like this before. All
you know
right?
who has, though? Corum. He's
Yeah,
played a
that's
bunch
true.
I mean, he's played in a bunch of them.
Yeah,
So
that is a very
do
good
think
point.
that is an X factor in this game. The Michigan Wolverine ain't worried about playing at
No.
Soldier Field this weekend.
No,
okay?
he's not. And that's a very good call. That's a very good call. Devontae Adams obviously played all those games in Green Bay. All right. But I have to believe the weather's going to help the Bears against essentially a dome team. I know it's a roof and not technically a dome because the sides are open, but it plays like a dome. SoFi does.
But even dome team, not dome team, LA team, Chicago team. I mean, come on. One team plays in good weather every game. The other one has to play in the elements. I get it.
Well, it's difficult for me to imagine that New England can really stick it to Houston. Houston's won 10 in a row. They have the best defense in the league. The conditions are going to be 35 and rain, right?
That's a slobber knocker. I'm so happy you're working that game, David. I'm not joking either. I mean, of all the games for you to be working, that's your game.
Here's the other thing that no one's talking about. Houston, this is their third year in the divisional round. When do they break through? They've had to go to Kansas City and Baltimore. This Patriots team ain't the Chiefs and it ain't the Ravens from the last couple of years. This is their best shot by far to go to an AFC championship game. They've won 10 in a row. Now, I will say the Patriots were 1-2, and they're 14-4. So they're 13-2 in their last 15 games. But I just wonder, the Texans actually have some playoff experience. We don't give them any credit for it. Does it matter Sunday afternoon in New England? They are a dome team playing in likely outdoor bad weather, but that defense, I think, travels.
I definitely think the defense travels. It's a race to what? 17, 20?
The Texans have never won in this round before. Never.
40.5. I know unders are boring, but man, I like the under in this game.
I just wonder, is it time? To me, everybody talks about the 85 Bears. In 84, the Bears went to Washington and beat a Redskins team who had gone to back-to-back Super Bowls. That was the breakthrough playoff win. They got whacked in the NFC title game, but they beat Washington on the road the year before they were a powerhouse. Just wondering, is it Houston's time?
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Play all night, play all day. Experience more in paradise. At Seminole Casino Hotel, we're bringing you more. With real cards and real dealers 24/7, this is the place where the action never ends. Now you can bet on your favorite team, roll the dice on craps, or spin the wheel for roulette. We've got your game. Plus, the Zigzag Girls Blackjack Pit features nonstop excitement and free drinks while you play. This is Seminole Casino Hotel, minutes away from more. For more information, visit moreinparadise.com. Must be 21 to play slots and table games. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 2033-PLAY-WISE.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? You mean I can't say soup? Whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
This is Miller and Moulton.
More as an actress than a singer. I know she was a singer, Michael, but it's the outfit and grease, not any of her singing. And she's not a rocker. It wasn't the type of, she was a, pop to whatever. That wasn't my thing. Wasn't then, isn't now. I mean, you bring up, outside of Madonna, there wouldn't be a pop singer that would make my top 10 list. Madonna, on the other hand, the Lucky Star video. Oh, well, we got to be good looking first. Wendy O. Williams was scary looking. I mean, come on, let's. Stevie Nicks, beautiful. Great voice. Love Fleetwood Mac. But wouldn't have made my list because, got to remember Fleetwood Mac's big songs. I'm a kid. I mean, I liked girls, but not, when you're in your teens and 20s, it was a little different. Shania Twain was great looking. Country, not my thing.
Saw her in concert.
Never thought Blondie was good looking, like her music.
20 plus years ago.
Gwen Stefani, on the other hand, I'm in.
Comptech, she doesn't even look like Shania Twain anymore. I don't know who that is. That's sad, actually, what she's done to herself. I mean, Demi Moore looks at Shania Twain and goes, "You've had a lot of work done."
So the latest Devitt controversy, as I see posted on X, Facebook won't let him change his name.
Yeah.
He's got 1.2 million followers on Facebook. 1.2 million. That's kind of a lot.
Uh-huh.
I'm right there with you, Mr. Spivey. That's a chart topper for me. That little eye thing in the Walk Like an Egyptian video. It's like Kathy Ireland with the finger in her mouth and the swimsuit issue. I'm sorry. There are just certain moments that I can go right back to. All right. I need 3 minutes. Not even that. No, I mean, I got to get the guess. Something like that.
Something like that.
Let me turn my camera off for a second. I'm just. Nick is in Buffalo for what it's worth.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll head to Boston at the top of the hour. Tim McKone, part of the midday show on 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston. He will join us as we'll talk a little Texans Patriots. Nick Sabato is kind enough to join us right now. We're going to talk a little Broncos Bills since he covers the Bills for the Niagara Gazette. He's also host of the Buffalo Press Box podcast. Follow Nick on X, Nick Sabato GNN. Nick Sabato, Sabato GNN. Nick, thanks for doing this. It's David and Mark. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Well, we're doing pretty well. We are curious, are the Bills healthy enough to beat the best team in the AFC?
I think the general principle that I have is that if the Bills play well, I think they can beat anybody in the playoff race. And if they play well, that means Josh Allen's playing well. So, and it's hard to pick against Josh Allen. So that's kind of my rule of thumb here, and it kind of proved true last week.
All right, but they are stepping up in class, and obviously the one thing that Denver and Jacksonville have in common is a really good defense, and in particular, a really good rushing defense. Buffalo didn't run it very well, or didn't run it that often. The numbers aren't that bad, but they didn't run it that often. Do they have to be much heavier and really, keep at the run in this game in order to win?
Yeah, I think the Jaguars, their number one run defense was well earned. I think Denver's number two, but they're not quite to the level of the Jaguars. They're going to have to run the ball well. Obviously, with losing two more receivers to torn ACLs, they're going to have to run the ball well. I think it could be a game where you see a lot of the fullback Reggie Gilliam. You see a lot of their three tight ends and two or three tight end sets. The Bills have to run the ball well to win this game.
Listen, it's not ideal to have all these injuries at wide receiver, but isn't that maybe the best way to take on the Broncos? Because let's face it, their corners were better than your wide receivers, even if they were healthy. I mean, isn't the way maybe to go at Denver is to go to tight end and pound the rock?
Yeah, I don't know that losing any of the receivers that they've had is necessarily a huge blow in terms of catching the ball. It's bodies. It's Tyrell Shavers was their best blocking wide receiver by a mile. But this is a defense that not only gets after you with their front four, but they blitz at the fifth highest rate in the league. And then you have Patrick Surtain in the back end. So yeah, I mean, it's like if you're gonna win, you have to keep Josh Allen upright, and the best way to keep Josh Allen upright is running the ball to keep him off balance.
All right, the other side of the ball. The Bills have been, I think they're the best team in the league as far as passing yards, but you can run against them. Well, I think the Broncos are not a great running team. To me, if Buffalo's going to win this game, and I get the whole Josh Allen thing, that's obvious. But the other side of it is, don't you want Bo Nix to be throwing it 25, 30 times in this game?
Yeah, I mean, does Sean Payton have the discipline to run the ball 30 times? I mean, Bo Nix led the league in passing attempts. I think that's a pretty wild statistic. I don't know that many people would have expected that. So will he have the patience to do it? If Bo Nix is throwing the ball 35 times, if he has a clean pocket, if he's able to get outside the pocket and run around, it could be a long day for the Bills too, because then things are going to go haywire. But if Bo Nix throws it 35 times, I think it's probably beneficial for the Bills. That's what it always comes down to is, does someone have the patience to run the ball, every play against the Bills? And the answer a lot is no. And eventually the Bills kind of make some adjustments and stop it. But, can they do it, fast enough is usually the story with them.
Nick Sabato covers the Bills, Niagara Gazette, also co-host of the Buffalo Press Box podcast. Follow Nick on X, Nick Sabato GNN, Nick Sabato Sabato GNN. Is last week's defensive effort, for a variety of reasons, probably about as good as the Bills can do the rest of this season, where they gave up around 24. They were kind of leaking oil late, but they forced 2 turnovers. They got the 4th down stop inside the 10. They did just enough to win. Is that pretty much what the Bills are bringing to the table on that side of the ball the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, that's who they are to an extent all the time. This year or any other year, they they're never superb against the run. They've been much better than they are this year, but they're never superb. But they force a lot of turnovers, and they get timely stops, and they don't give up deep balls. That's the Sean McDermott defense. And they're excellent in disguising coverages. And, you get to third down, they'll have 3 linebackers on the field, and they might be, they're only going to rush 4. They don't blitz very much, but they do a really nice job of making you guess which 4 are coming. That's kind of who they are. They like to play the mind games and play situational defense. They're not going to be confused with, the Steel Curtain or the 2000 Ravens or even the 2025 Broncos. But I think if they play the way they did last year, they'll be good enough to last week. They'll be good enough to win.
Well, there's one X factor. We all talk about Allen and running the ball, and we should because he's great at it. To me, it's third down for Denver, and Buffalo's not great at stopping teams on third down. And what I worry about if I'm Buffalo is not necessarily their running game, not necessarily Nick's throwing it, but his ability to scramble and get yards with his feet. Josh Allen's the second leading rusher for Buffalo, but Nick's is the second leading rusher for Denver, and Nick's getting yards with his feet is what worries me for Buffalo. How do you prevent him from escaping the pocket and making big plays with his legs?
Yeah, I think whoever's more successful on 3rd and 7+ is probably going to win the game. Whether it's, the Broncos being able to dial up some of their pressures on Josh Allen or the Bills being able to give Bo Nix some of their confusing looks. And then whoever can get into 3rd and short is probably going to have a better chance to win. The Bills have kind of been up and down in terms of stopping quarterbacks from getting out of the pocket. You look at, I think they've played 8 games against the top 15 scramblers in the league, and 6 of them ran for more yards than their average. But they also had a couple of games against Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts where they gave up a combined 2 scrambles for 9 yards. And, maybe they get outside the pocket, but there are guys, ready to kind of corral them so that they're not able to either get loose or put a defender in a position where he's got to come up and make a tackle or stick with his man in coverage. So if they can play like that, then they'll have a pretty good chance there. But if Nix is getting out of the pocket and has his choice of, can I, throw for 10 yards or run for 5, they're in trouble.
Nick, final one for me, and you posted a video detailing all the injuries that Josh Allen has dealt with here in the last few years to keep his consecutive start streak going. 80%, as best you guys can tell, between the foot, a hand, a shoulder. I mean, what 80% Josh Allen? What are we getting this January?
Yeah, that's probably fair. I think the foot has been overblown. It doesn't look like his knee is bothering him a whole lot from the limited time that we got to see him this week. And he injured his left knee in that game, running for a touchdown, but he ran the ball after that. And I thought the right foot was always slightly overblown. Not that it wasn't hurting him, but I don't think it's really hampered him a ton. That's who he is. He's going to play. And we really didn't see any effects in the second half from any of his injuries.
Basically Vegas says it's the 24-22 game. The over-under is 45. The point spread's 1.5. What's the number you think the Bills have to get to offensively to win?
If they get to 30, they're going to roll. That's a big ask against that defense. But I would say if the Bills get 21, 22, 23, I think they have a good chance to win it. I don't believe they've lost when they scored 23 points this year. So that's probably the number that a Bills fan should feel comfortable is 23. And the Broncos, they might want to feel a little uncomfortable with that number. because they've kind of struggled in some of those games. They don't want a higher scoring game, but I think the Bills want to push that score a little bit.
Nick Sabato covers the Bills for the Niagara Gazette, co-host of the Buffalo Press Box podcast. Follow Nick on X, Nick Sabato GNN, Nick Sabato Sabato GNN. Nick, thanks for making time for us. Safe travels. Be well.
All right, thank you.
Nick Sabato, kind enough to join us. Bills perspective of Broncos Bills. I think Sean Payton, with the 2 weeks to prepare, I think he takes advantage of the weakest unit on the field, which is the Bills defense.
But particularly the Bills running game. And if there's one, I mean, that's the weakest part of the Denver offense. But like I said to Nick there, I think Nick's legs are a huge part of this game, David.
Maybe. For what it's worth, those wondering, because we're talking weather on Sunday, it's supposed to be rainy, mid-30s in Foxborough, and the weather in Chicago is supposed to be just awful. I mean, cold, windy.
Yeah, is it minus wind chills in Chicago? Did I read, or right there about?
I mean, I don't know if we're going to get blowing snow or not. I mean, Chicago weather is supposed to be bad. One of the 5 coldest games the Bears have ever played, supposedly. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be sunny and 40 in Denver. Now that I'm hearing a little bit of wind, but there's no precipitation at all, and the temperature's above freezing, which in mid-January in Denver, sunny in upper 30s, sunny in 40. I don't know. You could ask for much more, even if there is a little bit of wind.
No, the other side of this, we've talked about it a lot. Playing in the altitude's a big deal. The Buffalo defense doesn't get off the field on third down. In the first half in particular, David, you always talk about that 50-play mark. Well, Buffalo's got to do what they can to pound the rock in the first half, get their defense off the field in the first half. So when the fourth quarter comes, there's a little bit left in the tank for the Buffalo D.
This is a playoff rematch from a year ago when Denver went into Buffalo, scored early, had a 7-3 lead or something like that. And then Buffalo said, we'll take it from here. But I do think that playoff experience will be helpful for Knicks.
Well, okay, this is not close to the same team for the Bills.
No, I understand. But I'm thinking about it from the Denver perspective. I think we all know what we're going to get from Buffalo. Don't you feel as if I know offensively and defensively what the Bills are going to give me? Isn't this game in Denver's hands that they have to play to their seeding? They have to play the way they've played most of this year. And if they do, they're better. If they don't, Superman's going to ruin their day.
I think it's that. And David, Knicks has been terrific this year. He really has. It's the playoffs. What's he going to play like? In that game against Buffalo last year, he made mistakes.
Yeah, I will say the Bills' defense kicked the tar out of the Broncos' offense, particularly in the second half. All right, Denver they weren't up to the challenge last year.
Is Bo Nix up to the challenge? You keep saying Superman, and you're right. But Bo Nix with his legs, Bo Nix not making mistakes, that's the key to me for Denver. They take care of that, well, then they're going to play and host the AFC Championship game. Miller and Moulton. Little Broncos-Bills talk there. We'll keep on a Football Friday. We'll talk Patriots and Texans next. Tim McKone, 98.5 The Sports Hub. And then we'll talk some Bears after that. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it
Mark
real.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Lee County Economic Development will release its 2025 annual report on February 5th at their annual meeting. It's a powerful look at our local economy, highlighting key data, emerging trends, and performance from the past year. The report covers major industries, workforce initiatives, business growth, and partnerships that drive Lee County forward. For more information about the annual meeting and the Economic Development Office, visit LeeCountyBusiness.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Be so proud of me, David. I'm texting with listeners.
That's nice. And unfortunately, you're really having to work today because you got to call everybody.
It is what it is. But someone, said, I know it's a football Friday, but I really want you to talk about Tucker and the Dodgers. And I'm like, spent the entire first segment of the 7 o'clock hour on it. And he's like, I'm sorry getting the kids right. Don't be sorry. Just download the podcast. And then he made his comments about it. Then I made my comments about it. Yeah. I settled.
Right. I just said this. What? That's true. You are texting with listeners, though. How happy that makes me.
What would John Cassio think?
Oh my goodness, he would treat us the way we treated him last week.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Talked a little Bills Broncos last segment. Now, let's talk the other AFC playoff matchup. Sunday afternoon should be mid-30s, rainy in Foxborough when the Patriots play host to the Texans. Tim McKone from the Giant, that is 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston, kind enough to join us once again. Follow Tim on X at Tim_McKone. That's McKone. Tim, David, and Mark, hope you've been well. And this is kind of exciting, isn't it? Game away from the AFC Championship game. You guys didn't think you'd be here this quickly, did you?
I don't think anybody thought that we were going to be talking Patriots on this Football Friday. We have only to win one more game to be in the AFC Championship game going into the season. I think, look, a lot of people around here were really excited about the hire of Mike Vrabel. You saw what he was capable of in Tennessee and taking a team like the Titans to the AFC Championship game before it kind of fell apart down there. And then certainly Drake May, there was reason for excitement, even though they only won 4 games last year, and it felt like, the franchise as a whole was kind of lost. You saw the flashes with the young quarterback, so you saw it getting an offensive coordinator like Josh McDaniels back in the fold with a talent like Drake May. You could see improvement. I think a lot of people around New England were thinking 8-9 wins. I got made fun of, guys, for thinking that they had a potential to win 11 games because of the way the schedule broke for them. But I don't think anyone in their wildest dreams thought that you were going to be sitting here coming off of a win in the playoff game against the Chargers, who beat this team last year 40-7 in December, and now, like you said, are hosting their second playoff game this year, going up against a very good Texans team.
And obviously, it's the Texans defense that everybody talks about. So right now, I'll give you the same 16 you scored against the Chargers. Would you take it to win this week?
I think it depends on what C.J. Stroud you get. If you get the C.J. Stroud that played against Pittsburgh there, where it felt like he couldn't hold on to the football, throws an interception, I think with this Patriots defense, you got a shot. But I also think it's going to be really hard for the Texans. As good as that defense is, you're going strength versus strength here, and the way that Drake May has played, certainly at an MVP level. I think they're capable of getting into the 20s, and if they do get into the 20s, guys, I think it's going to be really hard for the Texans to beat New England.
Tim, let's talk pass protection, because I think that's the game. Because I was at the Steelers-Texans playoff game, and there were 4 times where Aaron Rodgers had a guy open downfield. He did not get any of the 4 passes off. He got hit or sacked. And I'm just wondering, do you think Will Campbell and company, because New England saw the same tape, and New England's thinking, if we can get one of these open a quarter, and say we hit 2 of the 4, that could be the game. Talk to me about pass protection against arguably the best front 4 in the league.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think when you talk about this game and sort of the X factor, it's going to be that matchup. Look, you talk about what the Texans did against the Steelers. They've done it to pretty much every team so far this year. And when you talk about the rebuild that took place in New England, it's really started with this rookie class, and it's really given them some young, exciting players. And that whole left side of the offensive line are rookies. We're talking Jared Wilson at guard and Will Campbell at tackle. Now, both of those guys have dealt with injuries throughout the season, but they've been pretty steady throughout. That changed last week. Both really, really struggled against that Chargers defensive line. And if you get that type of performance against the Texans this week, the Patriots are going to be in some trouble. So those 2 young guys have to step up, have to play better. I think the other X factor, guys, is we're not just talking about a drop-back passer when you talk about Drake May. He's one of the more athletic quarterbacks in the NFL. And so can he actually use his legs to his benefit in this game, too? I think that's one way that the Patriots could potentially move the ball here. But you're 100% right. When you kind of talk about the big matchup in this game, it's can that rookie left side hold on and survive against this very good Texans defensive line.
All right. Drake May with his legs is exceptional. There's no doubt. But we just talked about those ends. Is this almost some, design quarterback draw plays to try to shoot up gaps in the middle? Where is it that, and I don't, expose is probably the wrong word, but to try to take advantage of maybe something on the Texans defense? Because I'm with you. I think, in a lot of these games, the quarterback legs are a big deal. I think in Buffalo and, for Denver, I think both of those quarterbacks' legs are a big deal. And Drake May's legs are a big deal. But how do you best use them?
It's interesting. Obviously, I'm on 98.5 The Sports Hub on a show with Scott Zolak, former Patriots backup quarterback. And he talked about not only, using it in terms of the run game as well, but helping out those rookie offensive linemen too, and maybe rolling him out of the pocket, moving that pocket a little bit, and just buying some extra time with this defensive line too. So I think that's something you're going to have to watch out for as well. Just use that athleticism, whether that's giving them an extra beat in terms of making sure that maybe some of those receivers can shake loose against, let's face it, guys, a really good secondary that the Texans have as well. So it's going to be tough sledding regardless of what takes place when you talk about how good this Texans defense is. But I think that there's a couple different ways you see Drake May potentially use his legs. And let's face it, guys, Josh McDaniels, one of the more experienced, one of the more accomplished offensive coordinators in the NFL as well, is going to have some things ready. But I think it's one of the things he's going to have to try to exploit throughout this game if they're going to have success.
Houston has a first-team All-Pro defensive player at all 3 levels of their defense. It's not just the 2 defensive ends. Tim McKone from the Sports Hub, and as he mentioned, he's part of the Zolak and Bertrand Midday Show on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Follow Tim on X at Tim_McKone, Tim_MCKONE. Talk to me about Christian Gonzalez. Can he go?
Yeah, look, he went out Wednesday in a non-contact red jersey of practice. Yesterday, the red contact jersey came off, so he was a full participant. So I think he's going to be ready to go, and that's a huge piece of this defense as well. You're talking about one of the best corners in football. Look, the strength I think a lot of people thought of this Patriots team coming into the season was going to be the defense. They spent big money on the defensive side of the ball in free agency. It's been fine throughout the year. The offense is really what's carried them, specifically Drake May. Again, that's why you were talking about him in the MVP conversation. Last week, though, Drake May not playing his best football, that Patriots defense won them the game. They were elite against the Chargers, and Christian Gonzalez is a huge part of that as well. He's one of those corners that you can just kind of look at and say, he's going to take away half of the field. So, again, we'll see what they can do against this Texans defense, but I think the way that they played last week against the Chargers certainly gives you confidence from a Patriots perspective that they can at least keep the offense in it, and you're 1 or 2 big plays away from potentially coming away with a win.
If turnovers are even, what's the difference? I think you may have just mentioned it, chunk plays, but when you look at this game, if the turnovers are even, where does New England have to win?
I think the chunk plays that you mentioned are a huge piece of this, right? The deep ball has been such a weapon throughout the year for Drake May and company. Can they get a couple of those big shots? Because I think it's going to be really hard. We talk about, and you just mentioned it too, it's not just the defensive line. This whole Texans defense is just loaded with talent throughout. So those methodical 10 to 12 play drives that Houston, against this Houston defense, I think it's going to be really hard to put together for this Patriots offense. So can you get a couple shot plays that really big chunks at once? I think that could be a recipe for success and certainly a strength for this Patriots offense throughout the season, something to watch for.
I'm seeing and hearing mid-30s rain. Is the weather going to be worse than that?
Look, I don't think we're going to get snow. There was some talk earlier in the week. The conditions aren't going to be great. And normally, as a Patriots fan over the last 25 years, you go advantage Patriots with that because obviously Tom Brady was a king of playing in the elements. I think it's one of the things you look at as a Patriots fan, you go, I don't know if that's advantage Patriots or not. Obviously, Houston coming up from the weather, they're not used to that stuff, but we're talking about Drake May, a young quarterback from North Carolina, has not had a lot of experience playing in these conditions as well. So what normally over the last few years you would say was a strength for the Patriots, I think is kind of a question mark going into this game and something to monitor early.
Is there someone on the Texans offense, though, that scares you if you're the Patriots?
No, there's not. It doesn't look like Nico Collins is going to go right now. C.J. Stroud, certainly in that game against Pittsburgh, struggled throughout. So I don't think you kind of look at that matchup as well. And as good as the Texans defense is, I look at the matchup, with this Texans offense and the Patriots defense. I think it's strength versus strength on the offense for the Patriots and the defense for the Texans. And then, I think the X factor here is going to be, can the Patriots kind of get a couple turnovers and change this thing and change the momentum, something to watch. But I don't think there's a real game breaker that you're looking at when you talk about the Texans offense coming into this game.
Tim, as always, we appreciate your time and your insight. Continued success with 98.5 The Sports Hub, and try to stay dry on Sunday, okay?
Thanks, guys. Will do.
Tim McKone, he's part of the Zolak and Bertrand Midday Show on 98.5 The Sports Hub in Boston. Follow him on X at Tim_McKone, MCKONE.
Yeah, I mean, the last question I kind of asked, there's nothing about the Houston offense that scares me.
If, and it's a big if, but they ran the ball against Pittsburgh. Surprisingly,
yes.
So,
but Pittsburgh's run defense is god awful.
I understand, but Houston obviously needs a little bit of that. They got to help C.J. Stroud out, or otherwise the Patriots defense can look as dominating as Houston's. The Nico Collins thing. I mean, remember, we had two guys in the concussion protocol when the week started, and the Patriots guy is already out of the protocol and involved in practice, and Nico Collins isn't doing a thing.
No, it was his second concussion this year, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
You know what sounds stupid, David? Punters will have a big part of this game. They really will.
Wow. Talk about it. Let's ESPN work with that. Hype that. Sell that. Sell that, Joe and Troy.
When you said when Aikman talks about the punters, I want credit, damn it.
Darn right. Okay, because it ain't coming from me. That's for sure.
I know. If you said it to him, he'd hit you.
He'd look at me and go, "Why are you here again? Okay, do we really need you?"
But in a game where strength, defense, special teams going to play a big part of this. The kicking game will be a big part of that game.
I will say this. The Patriots sometimes settle for way too many field goals in the red zone. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. FloorMeisters.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Lee County Economic Development will release its 2025 annual report on February 5th at their annual meeting. It's a powerful look at our local economy, highlighting key data, emerging trends, and performance from the past year. The report covers major industries, workforce initiatives, business growth, and partnerships that drive Lee County forward. For more information about the annual meeting and the Economic Development Office, visit LeeCountyBusiness.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Excuse me.
That was a good one.
It was. I needed it. Oh, man. Want to do picks here?
Yep.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. We'll head to Chicago in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Scott Lewis to preview Sunday night's Bears-Rams game. We'll ask him to put his weather hat on and also tell us what they're saying as to how bad it's going to be Sunday night. We're hearing bad. Just how bad? And Al Sacco at the top of the hour. It's the bonus hour. We'll get underway. We'll talk a little Seahawks 49ers. They're playing tomorrow night in the Pacific Northwest.
I'm very impressed we were able to, to get someone to talk about that game.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No.
A morning show in the East Coast and a West Coast game.
I mean, you almost need the late night guy who, parties all night and gets someone drunk on the air at 6 a.m. But
you mean like our Fox buddy? Okay.
And Maller there?
Okay. Who does the network show and then gets off, and sometimes we get him before his workout.
Right. Never drunk, just always fired up.
Punchy tired, right?
That guy's he's a machine. All right, quick question for you. Are we waiting until Monday? I mean, is this just 4 picks, or are we waiting until Monday to put the natty on there?
Oh, no. We're not doing the natty now. No, we're waiting
just
till Monday
sure.
for the natty. No.
Does the natty count?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course. Is it a football game with a point spread? I mean, hello.
Well, Thursdays don't. I'm just asking. I think it should because it's Monday. And we've included Monday night games in our picks over the course of the season.
Yeah, no, it counts. No, but we'll deal with that then. So we have 4 NFL games. By the way, you asked the question. We have 2 poll questions, right?
We do. Let's see how people are voting. Typically, 3 home teams will win this weekend. Which road team has the best chance to win? So far, 1 person's voted for the San Francisco 49ers. The rest of the votes are split up between the 3 teams, with the Rams getting the most votes, then Houston, then Buffalo. How many road teams will win? Well, 62% of you say 2 road teams will win.
Ooh.
A little less than 28% go with 1, and then 7% for 3 and 3% for 0.
6 years in a row that we've had at least 1 road team win this weekend. You got to go back to the 2018 season, 7 seasons ago, when we had the 1s and the 2s emerge from the divisional round to meet in the conference championship games.
I'm taking 2 road teams.
Ooh.
For what it's worth.
Okay.
I'm going to take 2 road teams outright to win.
Look at you.
But they're probably not the 2 that you think. Because I don't think Buffalo's defense is good enough. I think a couple of the points you've made today, the time Sean Payton's had to get ready for this, the fact that they played them last year, I think that's important. I also think being able to see what worked and didn't work for Jacksonville is important. At the end of the day, I think the Broncos are hosting the AFC Championship game. Give me Denver. I'll lay the 1.5. I mean, it is a virtual pick'em after all, with the point spread that low. And I'll take the Broncos and lay the 1.5. The nightcap on Saturday, Man, I think Shanahan can coach, and I know Purdy's 4-0 at Seattle, but this Kittle thing to me is everything. I just think it forces someone to cover him that now maybe will be able to cover McCaffrey as a receiver. I do think that matters. The points you've made, and I think I mentioned it earlier this week, saw a funny post that said, haven't we seen McCaffrey run for 3 yards 1,000 times this year? It's not going to be enough. Seattle's running game's also really good. Both guys can get it done. The receivers are good. Their defense is excellent. Sam Darnold gets the win. The Seahawks win and cover the big number. But on Sunday, it's a different story. I'm taking the Texans. I think the Texans win outright.
I think I would have taken them if Nico Collins was healthy.
Just got a feeling. I'm taking them outright to win as far as picks, but I will tell you this much. I love the 3.5.
Oh, I'm with you there. I'd take the points.
So I'm taking the Texans in 3.5 over New England just so I get 5 picks in this week. I'm also taking the under in that game. A double dip on Texans Patriots. And finally, yeah, I know, cold weather, Stafford, I get it, blah, 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 blah. Sean McVay can coach. I've talked about Shanahan. We've talked about all these coaches. McVay against Ben Johnson. Give me Sean McVay in that game. Give me Matt Stafford over Caleb. And I like the running game. Watch Blake Corum have a big game in Chicago. Give me the Rams -4. So there you have it. 5 picks, David. I am at 59 and 59 on the season after a 4-3 week last week.
So you went 4 and over under? Is that what you did?
That's what I did.
All right. I picked 2 road teams in our poll question. And when I picked it 2 hours ago, I was leaning Texans Rams. But this Josh Allen is Superman thing, it just keeps.
Wow, do you have a crush on him? And I get it. You have a man crush on Josh Allen.
He's the best player left in the season right now. He is. Okay, seriously. You got 8 teams right now. You could pick one guy. One guy. Who would you pick?
Josh Allen.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think that's significant. I'm going to pick the Bills. And I don't believe in that defense. I don't believe that Sean Payton will run the ball because he never does. Now, I know they throw a lot of passes at or behind the line of scrimmage, which could serve as long handoffs. But I think Sean Payton's arrogance comes back to hurt him tomorrow. And I think Josh Allen steals it late again. Give me the Bills, 24-23. I like the Seahawks a lot. The only thing that I believe could work against them is they'll be so conservative offensively. They may keep this game so low scoring that San Francisco may only need 1 or 2 plays to steal it themselves. The over-under is 44.5. I might put my house up on the under. I'm just saying. I might put my house up on the under. Give me the Seahawks to win, but I'm taking the under. I'm not doing the 7 points. I'm taking the under. Give me the 3.5 with the Texans. I'll go Patriots 19-17. And give me the over, by the way, in the Rams-Bears. Both defenses have been lousy. Lousy. All right. Give me 30-24 Rams. Rams cover. and the over.
All right. So are you taking both of those in that? I mean, are you? Is it
Yes.
4 bets or 5?
Yes.
You've you've
5.
got Bills under, Texans, Rams, and the over.
Correct.
That's David's 5. I went with all 4 games: Denver, Seattle, the Texans, and the Rams, and I'm taking the Texans and the Patriots. We will go to Chicago next. Get you ready for Rams Bears. Where else but Miller and Moulton?
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Did you see McDaniel's buddy, who's the comedian, just rip into Aikman?
Yes. Yes. He's also the Katie
Nolan's boyfriend.
or fiance, I think. Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, you might be, yeah.
Yep.
Now, his comment about Ross, it's hard to argue with.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
and a 30-minute podcast can get a lot of people to say a lot of things these days.
What do you mean?
I mean, they just, there's a lot of podcasts where guys, that's where is it Webb Simpson made his comments. That was on a podcast. It wasn't interviewed and asked directly. You just start, you start talking. These people start talking, and they keep going. You get on a roll, and you keep going. That's all.
Yes, you do.
I did listen to a good chunk. Nikki Glazer was on with Stern. It was really good.
It was.
Obviously, Stern's very good at getting people to open up and talk, but it was just, listening to her having to do the Globes and SNL and just the work she puts in to do it. I found it fascinating.
Yep. I agree. By the way, I thought her material was better than you thought it was.
I just thought the opening monologue was,
Okay.
I thought the Leo joke was great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jacques, you're exactly. I mean, that's it. You just get and that's that's what a great interviewer or a great host does. Gets people comfortable. Have you watched any of Letterman's new series on Netflix?
No, I've just seen the stuff on X.
I saw the one with Sandler. It was good. And I like, obviously I like Adam Sandler. He's been in like 70 movies.
Seems like a lot.
Yes, I do, Left Twix, but I have no problem taking shots at myself, so I would have no problem with someone else taking shots at me. Most people I think would be uncomfortable dating a female comedian.
Oh, I'd love it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. We ask you 2 poll questions. Recent history says at least one team, but most likely only one team, is going to lose this weekend. Or, excuse me, one road team is going to win this weekend. Who's the road team? The Rams getting the most votes, as you would expect. All right. And then we ask you, though, how many road teams do you think are going to win? And the majority of you think there will be 2 road winners. It's been a long time since we've had just 2 road winners in the divisional round. Usually we get 1 road winner. 6 years ago, we had 3 road winners. 7 years ago, we had all the home teams win. Miller and Moulton. Scott Lewis, co-host of the 79th and Hallis podcast, is kind enough to join us once again. He covers the Bears. They got a big game at home on Sunday. Follow Scott on X at BarbChairScott, BarbChairScott. Scott, David, and Mark, thanks for doing this. How are you?
How's it going, guys?
Well, first off, you got to put your meteorology hat on. Come on. What are they saying? How bad's it going to be?
Oh man, it's gonna be bad on Sunday. I was at the practice facility yesterday, and it was pretty cold yesterday for practice, and it was about 20 degrees higher than it will be on Sunday. So it's gonna be freezing. I personally think that weather is a tad overrated when it comes to football, but I do think it will be a factor, especially if Matthew Stafford is still having problems with his thumb. But it's gonna be freezing on Sunday for sure.
All right, I just want to go back a little bit because you cover this team. You like this team. It's easier when the team you cover is good. But,
yeah.
I mean, what were your expectations going in And just how much has this team surprised you this year?
This team has surprised me a lot. I've been covering the team. This is my 5th season covering the team. This is my 26th season as a fan. So all together, this has been the most surprising Bears season I've ever seen. Coming into this year, I thought they would be competitive. I thought they would compete for one of those final wild card spots. I had them in 9 and 8 this season. I had them finishing 3rd in the division. I just thought that Detroit. I was surprised Detroit came out as bad as they did. I thought Green Bay would be a lot stronger. And, Minnesota did exactly what I thought they were going to do. I had zero faith in J.J. McCarthy. But the Bears, I thought they were going to finish 3rd, but I did think they would have a shot. But especially after the first 2 weeks. I did almost every game this year, but I remember the opener, Monday Night Football, Bears came out real strong, choked the lead to Minnesota, then get absolutely shellacked in Ford Field. I remember leaving Ford Field and those angry Lions fans were shouting F. Ben Johnson like throughout the stadium. They were even yelling at like some media people, like which was kind of funny to me. But to see from where they went starting 0-2 and just how confident Ben and Caleb were in the post game, to seeing where they are right now, 3 wins away from winning the franchise's second ever Super Bowl title. It's been beyond shocking, to say the least.
Did this snowball in a positive direction the way last year snowballed negatively? And ironically enough, did both snowballs start in Washington? You know, the Bears were going to lose. They were losing, and Washington fumbled late. And the first comeback, he drives them down and they kick the field goal with the walk-on kicker, if you will. And from there, it just seems as if, if it's close late, we're going to win.
Yeah, I think that the Washington game is definitely where the comeback trail started. The cardiac Bears, they like to call them this season. I do think that the Dallas game was a big turn point because they just came out, and to me, that was the most complete game of the year. I'm still waiting for a performance like I've seen against Dallas. But Washington was a game that a lot of the current Bears players who were here last season really, really wanted. I know a lot of the fan base wanted because of the Hail Mary and, just the way a lot of Commander fans were really acting after that game. A lot of people forget about the old school rivalry between the Bears and the Commanders, or the name they used to be called. So that was something where when they went down, and I remember Caleb threw a touchdown to DeAndre Swift, and they took the lead. And just the way the team composed themselves, Deshaun Wright getting the fumble, which is one of his many turnovers he got this season. And, winning the game off the field goal with a backup quarterback in Jake Moody, who's just been cut. Carlos Santos was hurt. To me, you're right. That's where it kind of spiraled in the right direction. The next week you have the block kick in Vegas, and it just kept going on and on and on. So I definitely will call that a turning point.
All right. David and I, my co-host and I, have been kind of not arguing, but we've been going back and forth this week of who has the better running game. He thinks that you do. Right. I think that the Rams do. I think they're very close. But the Bears' running defense throughout the season's not been good. How important is it for the Bears' defense to do their job stopping the run?
It's 100% important. Kyron Williams, I do believe as of late, Kyron has been better. I think overall throughout the season, I'll have to agree that the Bears' running game has been better. I think the last month, it hasn't been as effective as it once was. Now, I think a lot of it has to do with I don't think Ben has been as consistent with his running calls the last month. But I also do believe it's probably why I thought Kyle Monangai reached a little bit of a rookie wall, which is natural. But I think the defense in general, especially the run defense, is paramount. Like, you need to slow Williams down because he is notorious for fumbling the ball. He is notorious for fumbling the ball in the red zone. So you need to put as much pressure on him as possible. But I do believe the running game is the key for the Bears to win this. If they, obviously Caleb threw the ball 48 times on Saturday, but a lot of that has to do with them being down 18 points. But this is a game where they got to come out, control the clock, and do what they need to do because this offense that the Rams have is the best offense the Bears have seen all year. And they want to keep Stafford, Nakua, and Adams off this field as much as possible. And that to me is why they're going to have to rely on the run game as much as they need to.
Talking with Scott Lewis, co-host of the 79th and Hallis podcast, covering the Bears. Follow Scott on X at BarbChair Scott. BarbChair Scott. The Bears can't keep winning like this, can they? I mean, Scott, come on. It's cardiac thing. I mean, I can go back to teams who are cardiac teams. They ultimately lose one of the games that they have miraculously found a way to win, right? I mean, that's got to happen soon, right? This team's too flawed, right?
Well, yeah, you could also say that happened in week 18 when they lost to Detroit. When they tried it again, and then it didn't work last minute. I think that's been the funny thing is just, I know for me personally, I've just been waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's like, okay. Like I remember right before they played Philadelphia, I was like, this is not going to work against the defending champions. And it worked. I didn't think it was going to work, against Green Bay the second time. They just keep finding a way. And so, that's why this game is interesting to me. Like, definitely I can see them losing. But at the same time, the Rams, they don't know how to close either. Like,
no.
If you look at the last 7 weeks, they've had a lot of, bonehead stuff they've done. I mean, Carolina, they did, both teams, them and Carolina, did stupid play after stupid play last weekend. So I do believe that realistically, you could probably say that it's just got to end this weekend because the Rams have been the better team all year. They have the better offense. As of right now, I believe they have the better head coach. But this is just a team I feel like you just can't predict which way they're going to come out. And, maybe them losing to Detroit week 18 is the best thing they can happen for them. So, I don't know. This game is going to be very interesting to me.
All right. Ben went for it and went for it and went for it. And if they would have lost the game, probably the way they should have, he would get a lot of criticism for all of those fourth down attempts.
Yeah.
Does he have to slow his roll this week and sometimes, either take 3 or punt the damn ball?
Yeah, so this week, 100% I would. Last week, I kind of understood because I think a lot of people, if you're not in Chicago or you're not a diehard Bears fan outside Chicago, last week was just, it's the Packers. Like, at that point, you had to pull out everything in your bag. The defense was terrible for the majority of the game. I kind of understood it. But, I think that this week, you got to be smarter. This is a better offense. It's a better team than the Green Bay Packers. I have no problem going for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2. But anything more than that, you need to take the points. Cairo Santos, for the most part, is extremely reliable. Every point is going to matter against this team. So I do believe that he's going to be smarter. I feel like the team, specifically the defense, saved him from getting killed because last week to me, I believe, was Ben's worst game as a Bears play caller. Like, it was just not good. So I definitely think he has to be much better. The offense in general got to start quicker. And the mistakes you made these last couple weeks, they're just not going to fly against a Sean McVay team.
Why have the Bears been so bad defensively? When did they become a bad defense? They're overcoming it most weeks, but when did they become bad defensively?
Well, that's a funny thing, too, because I think with all the takeaways, I think if you're not really paying attention to the Bears, you're thinking, oh, they're pretty good defense. The defensive line, even though it is a top 5 expensive unit in the league, they just don't have any dogs up front. Like, to me, it's like a NBA team full of role players. You need you a Luka Doncic. You need you a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They don't have a stud on this defensive line. And I do believe that whenever the offseason starts, that's going to be the number one priority to get a stud on there because Montez Sweat having a solid year, but he, in my opinion, is a number 2, maybe a number 3 guy on a really, really great defensive line. So they're able to generate some pressure, but they just don't have any finishers. Sometimes they get to the quarterback, they'll miss a tackle. So add that on top of the speed of the defensive line. There's only so much longer that your secondary can hold up. And the secondary and the linebacking core has dealt with a lot of injuries. Against Philadelphia, it was all second and third string linebackers because of all the injuries they had. You had Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, the 2 best cornerbacks, missed pretty much all the season. They're playing right now, but they're on one leg. You just got to give credit to them for even pushing through right now. So if you add the injuries, the lack of speed, and the linebacking core and the defensive line, that's pretty much what makes them the defense they are. But I have to give credit to Dennis Allen for, number one, leading the lead in takeaways and just at least being competitive with the personnel he has. And that's going to be the number one, business to take care of this offseason, no matter what happens this Sunday.
Is it just a matter of Puka's going to get his? I mean, he averages over 100 yards in receiving a game. Is he just going to get his, or is there something they have to do to try to slow him down?
I mean, yeah, you're going to have to try to slow him down, but he's just a guy, like you said, he's going to get his. Like the plays he didn't make last weekend were the ones he dropped. So, I feel like Puka is, in my opinion, pound for pound, probably the most complete wide receiver in the NFL. I don't call him the best. I still think Justin Jefferson, and then you got Jamar Chase, I think are better wide receivers. But the way he can beat you, he can just beat you in so many different ways. And I feel like that's going to be very tough for the Bears to, handle. But I think with the Bears, if you can I think the key here is forcing Stafford to do some Stafford stuff. And I know he's won a Super Bowl. I know he's probably going to win MVP this year. But I know a lot of Bears fans, a lot of Bears fans in the NFC North in general are like, he still doesn't scare us. He's going to throw you one or two. And so I think that if you can put pressure on them and make them make mistakes, that's the key. But Puka, if Puka doesn't have a good game, I don't think it's going to be because of anything defensively the Bears did. It's because he has some uncharacteristic drops. But he's going to get his, and that's what I think will be the biggest fear for the Bears is what exactly he's going to do.
Stay warm.
I will try.
Scott Lewis, co-host of the 79th and Hallis podcast, and you could tell he honestly covers the Chicago Bears. Follow him on X, Barb Chair Scott. Barb Chair Scott. Scott, thanks so much. Be well.
No problem, man. Always great to talk to you guys. I'll
Scott Lewis.
It's tough. Like he said, he's been a fan, and then he started covering the team.
Mm-hmm.
He covers the team really honestly.
Oh, my goodness.
For a guy who spent far more time being a fan than someone that's now through podcast world in the media world. He does a great job. We've had him on a lot this year, and he's always given us great information.
I love how he said, I usually think weather's overrated, but I went to practice yesterday, and obviously you got to walk outdoors before you get into their indoor facility. And he goes, and it was damn cold yesterday. It's supposed to be 20 degrees colder Sunday. Remember, and the sun will be down. It's a night game.
Oh, it's going to look good on TV.
Oh, it'll look great on TV.
If you don't have snow, David, you need the breath coming out. You need to be able to see the breath coming out of the face mask. It will give people of our age and older, the thoughts of whether it's an old Vikings game when they were outside with the purple people eaters. We all know whether it's the Steelers and Lambert, but we know those games when it's just cold.
Listen, I always like a game when you have a chance to see the frozen Coughlin face, where there's a coach or a player on the sideline to give you frozen Coughlin face. That's worth the price of admission for me. Miller and Moulton. Have a great rest of your Friday. The bonus hour's next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Play all night, play all day. Experience more in paradise. At Seminole Casino Hotel, we're bringing you more. With the newest slots, action-packed table games, sports betting, the hottest entertainment, and a variety of award-winning restaurants. Expect more with live craps, roulette, and blackjack 24/7. And over 1,400 of the most popular slot machines. This is the place where paradise never ends. This is Seminole Casino Hotel. Minutes away from more. For more information, visit moreinparadise.com. Must be 21 play slots and table games. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? You mean I can't say soup? Whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And 25th. Standout designers from Crown. Our wedding band event is back at the Diamond District, January 24th and 25th. Standout designers from Crown, Ajapi, and Viraggio. 2 days only, 20% off designer pricing. Diamonds, gold, or platinum. One of a kind or perfectly simple. We make it personal and easy. 20% off, January 24th and 25th. Only at the Diamond District. Se habla español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Left Twix, usually people are a little different personally than how they are professionally, but who knows how it'd be.
No, it wouldn't bother me in the least bit. In fact, giddy up. Accomplishing a lot this morning.
Good.
Oh, crap. I got to call again.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on this Football Friday. Thanks so much for being with us. If you've missed Nick Sabato talking Bills Broncos, Tim McKone talking Patriots Texans, Scott Lewis talking Bears and Rams, well, make sure you go to millerandmoulton.com and download what you missed. Not one, but two poll questions. 6 straight years, we've had at least one road team win in the divisional round of the playoffs. A, who is the road team most likely to win? Majority of you voting Rams. B, how many road teams do you think will win this weekend? And the majority of you saying you think there will be 2 road winners. One such road team is the Niners. Al Sacco covers the Niners and hosts the 49ers Web Zone No Huddle podcast. Follow Al on X at Al Sacco, SACCO 49. Al Sacco 49. Al, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this, particularly at this hour. How are you?
I'm doing good, guys. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's our pleasure. All right. Listen, we know Kyle Shanahan's amazing, and what he did last week against the Vic Fangio defense hadn't been done to Vic in the playoffs in a very long time. How in the hell is he going to do it again, though? They keep losing guys.
Yeah, it's incredible. When you look at this season, I guess as the weeks went on, you were kind of expecting for the other shoe to drop. You lose Nick Bosa, you lose Fred Warner, Brock Purdy's out, George Kittle's out. When are they going to start losing? When is this going to turn around? And it never happened. And that's a testament to Kyle Shanahan and to Robert Saleh, because Robert Saleh is basically playing with rookies, backups. He's Denominator Lador. He's got a few guys, but really he's just kind of making it stick together with what he has. It's been pretty phenomenal. Thing about this game, it's a divisional game, and you never know what can happen in a divisional game. And even as much as the Seahawks really put it to the Niners the last week of the season, if there isn't kind of a weird bounce off Christian McCaffrey's hands, almost at the goal line for an interception, that's a 13-10 game, and all of a sudden it's anybody's game. So as much as the Niners got dominated in that game, they were still right in it. So being a division game, playing Seattle, it's a great defense, but now, Sam Darnold got this oblique, and we have to see Sam Darnold really step up in a playoff game anyway. We'll see. Anything can happen, especially in this year's NFL.
I've made a lot of the Kittle injury, and partially because I think you can now defend the receiver McCaffrey differently without Kittle. Am I at all off base there?
Well, you don't replace George Kittle, right? I mean, you're talking about one of the best tight ends in the NFL, so that's going to affect them. Something that'll help if it happens, it looks like Ricky Pearsall might play, and if he does, that's somebody who can take the top off the defense a little bit. He didn't play in Week 18. The Niners don't really have anybody who scares you on the outside, so if he's there and there's somebody that can open it up a little bit downfield, that helps. But like you said, they're not going to be able to replace George Kittle, but Jake Tungus has done a good job in terms of receiving the ball. Where I worry about not having George Kittle, as great of a wide receiver as he is in the run game, and they've been struggling to run the ball anyway this year, and Kittle makes such a difference when he's in there to not have his blocking. That's going to be huge for them. So, listen, Kyle's going to have to get back in his bag. You saw him pull out, some trick plays with the Juwan Jennings pass to McCaffrey against the Eagles. He's going to have to get creative. He'll probably use Kyle Juszczyk a little more, as you saw in the second half of the Eagles game. Not that he would touch the ball 5 or 10 times, but a few times to get him involved. Again, hopefully Pearsall plays, and Brock Purdy can. They're going to get pressure. It's a great front for the Seahawks. Can Purdy run around? Can Purdy make plays? And can Purdy take care of the ball? Because as many plays as Purdy makes, I think Purdy's a hell of a quarterback. He does throw interceptions. He's a gunslinger. So if he can take care of the ball, play smart, and the Niners can keep the score down, they have a real chance here.
What is it? And you could go back to when he was with the Ravens. Baltimore came in and kicked the tar out of a really good Niners team on Christmas Day a couple years ago. I believe 4 of the 5 times that Mike McDonald, whether as DC or head coach, has gone up against the Kyle Shanahan Niners offense, he's held them to the teens or lower. What is it that Seattle and McDonald does that other teams are unable to do to San Francisco?
Well, the one stat that stuck out to me the most, and I think you can consider this when he was with the Ravens too, I saw recently, I think Seattle is in the top 7 in terms of defending the middle of the field. And Kyle Shanahan likes to work the middle of the field. So if you can take that away, like I said, the Niners don't threaten you much on the outside. That's huge. And obviously, when you throw the ball in the middle of the field, the ball can get tipped. There can be turnovers, and if you're really good at that, it can affect what you do. He has been successful against the Niners. So is Vic Fangio. And they did a little bit better in this last game. So we'll see. Again, being a divisional game, I just keep going back to that. Anything can happen when you're playing a divisional opponent. But the Niners have their work cut out for them. They have to go into Seattle and prove that they can move the ball against his defense because, like you said, to this point, he's given them fits, and they don't exactly have the most talented team that's ever faced him going in right now. But they've been finding a way this season, and just have to see if they can keep it going. But it will be a tall task for sure.
You mentioned what Salah's done on the defense, and you also mentioned the Sam Darnold oblique injury. So when you look at what Salah's got to come up with to try to make Sam Darnold be the guy that throws a bunch of picks, what do you see them doing defensively to stop or interrupt or turn over the Seahawks?
Well, the Niners don't get any pressure. They're at the bottom or near the bottom of the league in pressures and sacks. I think they were at the bottom of the league in it. And there's just really no help coming for that. So it's going to be tough to pressure him unless they blitz. They try to just rattle him in the pocket a little bit. But I think that Salah's doing a good job showing different looks. Can maybe try to confuse Darnold a little bit. The Seahawks, other than Smith and Jigma, don't have a ton that threatens you in the passing game either. So, and the Niners do have some decent corners. Lenore is good. Green's been playing better lately. Upton Stout has done really well for a rookie. So they do have some corners that can challenge you. But I almost think the biggest challenge to Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold himself. He was in the top of the league in EPA first half of the season, and I think since week 11 he's down at the bottom. He hasn't played as well. We've seen him in some big games play poorly. You saw it against Detroit and in the playoffs last year, and we'll see what he can do this year. So that may be the biggest thing. If Darnold can give them a few and just kind of keep the Niners in the game, it can totally change it. But it's a quarterback that's untested versus a quarterback who has 5 playoff wins in Brock Purdy. So that's a big part of it. And if he's beat up and that oblique's bothering him, if your oblique hurts, you have to twist when you throw and play quarterback, and that's going to affect that. So we'll see how he looks in the game. But Darnold has a lot to prove, and I think Darnold himself could maybe help the Niners defense a little bit.
Boy, the Niners could use Brandon Ayuk, couldn't they? Isn't this one of the stranger stories, Al, in all your years of covering sports that you've ever seen?
It is, and looking at it, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. We don't know what happened behind the curtain. Are both sides to blame a little bit? I would assume so. I know that the Niners had buyer's remorse, felt like almost instantly when they gave him that contract, and then he gets hurt on top of it. But Ayuk had some bizarre behavior before he signed the contract. He was posting things about the Redskins practices. He was just, on social media. It was really weird behavior. They weren't going to sign him. Shanahan came in at the last second, kind of ran upstairs and said, "Hey, can we get this done?" And they ended up doing it. And I think Kyle would probably regret that a little bit now, maybe if you gave him some truth serum with it. But it is weird. Ayuk's just done really, strange things. I don't know why he would give up that much money to go out on the free agent market when you're coming off a major injury and acting that erratically. I can't imagine he's going to get much more than a prove-it deal. Maybe he will. Maybe I'll be surprised. But it has been really strange, and they can really use him. And if you're a Niners fan, you have to be frustrated because, again, they need somebody on the outside. And you look at what's happened this year with the injuries. I don't think a lot of people thought they would be here, and they are. And, yeah, you could use a Brandon Ayuk. But it is a weird situation. I don't know if we're ever going to know what really happened. But for the rest of his career, we'll see. I think I don't – maybe he isn't expecting to get huge money. Maybe he just wanted out of there. I don't know. But there's no way he's ever getting another contract like he got with the 49ers on the open market with his injury and the way he's been acting. It's really strange.
Yeah, and I don't know why you'd want to get out of there. All they've done is win, no matter who's been there for quite a long time. Can the Niners run it against Seattle? Seattle's defense, you've mentioned a couple times, they're really good. They're really good against the run.
Yeah.
So I mean, are they going to be able to run it at all, and how committed will they be to running the football?
Well, I think you have to, show some commitment to it, but they haven't really run well all year, and I don't know that they're going to be able to run against this front either. So it is going to, I think it will be a game where Brock Purdy is going to have to win it. But also, I don't think it's going to be a game where you score 30 points. So you're going to have to find a way to keep the score down, just take advantage of your opportunities, hope you can get some turnovers, hope you can get some short fields. Sky Moore has done a good job returning for them. Maybe he breaks one, maybe he gets one, on the other side of the 50. I think that's what you have to hope for. You got to feed McCaffrey. You got to stick with it. It'll set up play action, if you continue to run the football. But the Niners have struggled with it. And I don't go in there thinking they're all of a sudden going to, run for 150 yards. I don't see that happening. But they do have to try, and they have to get a little creative. And Kyle Shanahan is, one of the best schemers and play callers, if not the best in the NFL. So I'm sure he's going to have some things ready.
This could be a game that really adds to Purdy's legend, isn't it? You go on the road and beat a team as a 7-8 point dog. That's what Montana did. That's what Young did a couple times. I mean, you do this, you start to grow in 49ers status, don't you?
Yeah, and I think with Purdy, there was some frustration when he came back from the injury because he especially in that Carolina game, because he was throwing a lot of interceptions. The Carolina game was certainly a bad game for him, but Brock Purdy is a really, really good quarterback. Is he going to throw picks? Yes. It's just kind of his game. You have to accept that. He's a gunslinger. He's going to take chances. Again, he lives kind of in the middle of the field. But he's a very, very good quarterback. I mean, if over a 17-game season this year, he only played 9, but he would have thrown 30-some-odd touchdown passes. So even though the turnovers are there, and he may throw 15-ish picks, he's throwing over 30 TDs every year. He pushes the ball downfield. And he's won playoff games, like you said, and he's got 5 playoff wins, which in the first 4 years of their career, only Russell Wilson, Mahomes, and Brady have more. So he's winning in the playoffs. He's coming back in the playoffs. He came back in this game. He came back against the Packers. He came back against the Lions. So he's showing that even if he doesn't play well or the team's down or whatever, end of the game, he can still get that drive. So yeah, he's been a really good quarterback. You have the elite guys. You have Allen. You have Mahomes. Usually Lamar. Usually Burrow. But I think I don't think Purdy obviously is an elite guy, but he might be the next step up. I think he's a top 10-ish quarterback in the league. I think he's been a good playoff performer. Again, if you have 5 playoff wins, it's not easy to win in the NFL, especially in the postseason. And if he does go into Philadelphia, and then he does go into Seattle, and he wins that game too, yeah, you just have to keep throwing more respect on his name. He's a good player. The Niners were right, I think, to sign him long term. Good quarterbacks are hard to, if you have a top 10-ish quarterback in the NFL, you got to lock those guys up, and I think that they did. And he took a lot of heat, back in 2023 or whatever, when they said, well, hey, he's playing with the Avengers. Look at all these guys. Look at all the guys he's playing with. Well, he's playing with Al. They may have the worst receivers in the league right now.
Al Sacco, 49ers Web Zone, No Huddle Podcast. Al, thanks so much.
No problem, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Kirk Cousins joining the CBS Today staff,
along with Kyle Long. Yeah.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day one. Some final thoughts. We've already made our picks. But all that other stuff coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Don't have many of them left.
We
That
do
is
not.
for sure. We'll have an overreaction Monday to what takes place this weekend. And, oh, yeah, we've got the Natty on Monday. Oh, yeah.
Speaking of college football, I mean, there's a gazillion players in the portal, and I think today's the day, right? Is
Yes.
today's the last day for what? Declaring you're going in the portal?
Right. 15-day window. It started January 2nd. It ends today.
But you want another fun fact? In 2021, 130 players declared for the draft early, forfeiting the rest of their collegiate career.
What year was this?
2021, 5 years ago.
Okay, so 5 years later.
How many early entrants were there into the draft this year? 130 in 2021. How many in 2026?
I don't know the number, so I'll just cut it in half, 65.
It's lower. It's 42. I mean,
Wow.
you think NIL's not making a difference?
Right?
I mean, you think Moore is staying at Oregon because he's getting paid?
By the way, did you hear the latest number?
Well, I had heard the number. I heard a number yesterday, David, that that Miami apparently tried to get Simpson to come to get him to come from Alabama.
I heard 6.5. What'd you hear?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
But you beat me to the punch here. 6.5.
Right. Okay. By the way, the number I hear for Dante Moore is higher.
Wow.
The number I heard yesterday was Oregon paid 7.5 to have him come back.
7.5. Now, what did they pay Raiola to transfer over?
Thank you.
It's a hell of a quarterback room.
Thank you. Here's my question. How do you stay? I was talking to someone last night, and he said, okay, this may sound crazy, but remember, Raiola's coming off a major injury. What if he's not healthy for September 1st? Or he's going to be healthy enough to play, but not 100%. Are you actually, if you're Dylan Raiola, because next year, and I know, you could turn out a year later, and like the quarterback class isn't as good this year as we thought it was going to be. The kid at Clemson didn't perform. The kid at Penn State didn't perform and then got hurt. Okay, so, Nussmeier, we thought he was going to be a top 10 pick, and then he's not. So this year's quarterback draft class fizzled, and who knows, maybe next year's does as well. But right now, at the very least, you're looking at Dante Moore and Arch Manning and Julian Sayin. And there's 6 other guys who you can prominently mention also. It looks like a very deep and talented quarterback draft class next year. I have no idea if they'll be NFL franchise quarterbacks, but they'll be very draftable on Thursday and Friday candidates.
But before, David, sorry to interrupt, but before you wanted to get out as early as you could.
Right, because
to
you got to get
maximize
paid.
your money because you weren't getting paid. Even if you're getting paid under the table, it ain't what they're paying now.
No, not close.
And obviously, if you got hurt, it's not just you, it's your family. I mean, it's generational money when you're getting this. Well, stay in another year to develop. At your place is going to be a lot of money. You go on the open market. What is it?
Well, let's just say he's getting $2.5 million at Oregon to rehab and redshirt. And then he's guaranteed 5+ for 2027. And then he enters the draft. He'd likely be the guy in the 2028 draft class. He'd be right there. Because like people who potentially could be in next year's draft class, CJ Carr could be in next year's draft class. He redshirted a year, played last year, will play this coming year. He doesn't have to play anymore if you don't want to. But I think Raiola is going to end up with the Canes. I just think they need a quarterback, and eventually they're going to throw enough money at him and go, so what? Don't worry about it if you're not 100% at the beginning of the year. We'll run the ball. Don't worry about it.
We need you for October 1st. But, the other thing, one of our listeners pointed out that Michigan got a deal with Underwood. Let's just say you did, okay? But I like that you brought him up. If you're Underwood, one, you have a good year this year. You're not going back to Michigan and wanting to renegotiate. And if they won't, why wouldn't you leave for $6-7 million somewhere else?
I was going to say, remember when a year ago he was offered $3 a year? And we went, wow, that's a lot of money for a kid coming out of high school. And Bryce is only...
It still is, by the way. I mean,
yeah, it is.
That's still a lot of money. It really is.
But
because
also,
the incoming freshmen are not getting the money that the transfer quarterback's getting.
But also, if you had to grade Bryce Underwood this year, taking everything in consideration, the coaching, the personnel on offense, level of competition, etc., C+
at best. At best, I think a C. I think an average grade. You give him a C, that's fine.
Okay, all right. So I think he didn't live up to $3 million this year. And hopefully he does live up to $3 million next year. Michigan needs it. Be nice to give him a couple of receivers.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Underwood, what I'm saying is I'm fine with the money. Go spend $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. Get me a couple guys to throw the football to.
And get me some better coaching on offense.
Right, and he'll get that. But, we don't have to spend time on it. But, I mean, I'm just saying as an example for a guy who's getting a few $1 million, he may go back and say, you know what, I need more money. And if they say no, well, he's going to get it somewhere else. And I don't just mean Underwood. I mean any quarterback that's out there. And having a quarterback room now in college seems damn near impossible, David.
So to equate this to pro sports, every college player essentially signs a free agent deal but has an opt-out at the end of the year where they could go back on the market and they can call up the Dodgers and say, how much do you feel like paying us?
Yes. And not to beat a dead horse again, but there's one simple way to fix this. David, how would you fix it?
Well, I would make it so that you could negotiate contracts that are viable for more than a year. And whatever you have to do to make that the case, I would do it personally.
But that's the other side of this. Yeah, they're, 1-year deals essentially for a lot of these guys, and they can get out of them. And if they sue, they're going to win because everybody that sues the NCAA is going to win. But, we lived in a world where college football players could get cut essentially every year from their scholarship. They weren't 4-year deals. They were 4 1-year deals. So turnabout's fair play. I don't know what to tell you.
They have turned the tables this decade. Have
Yes, they
ever? Have they ever? Okay.
And it shows you how much we are loyal to the helmet. And I mean we as sports fans, because David and I have talked about it for next to ever. None of us are, for the most part, the man. We're all trying to get more from our boss or whatever the case may be. And once an athlete does it, damn it, you should be loyal to that team. We've always gotten a kick out of it, but that's how fans are. And no one seems to like what's going on in college sports right now, but we don't know what to tell you. There's ways to fix it. They're not interested in doing it.
Just like there's ways to fix it in baseball, and doesn't look as if they're anywhere close to coming up with one of the ways to do it.
Miller and Moulton getting ready for divisional round, but we finished things up this week with Today Was the Day When, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what's on tap. That's next. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, they hired the new president, right, Paul? I saw that. Is that yesterday or the day before? So we'll see if that spells the end to Manuel as AD and where we go from there. By the way, I don't know if this is, I've not looked at the AP basketball, but John Rothstein, who I follow on X, put out his top 10. Let me check the AP right now to see if it's the same. Well, it's not the same. He has Michigan State 10. The AP has him 12. So he has 4 in the top 10. The AP has 4 in the top 12. Man, is this the year the Big Ten finally gets their natty? It's been a while. Well, you're right, Javier, and not just in sports, but we'll keep it to sports for this show. And I'm fine with that, Skip, for minimum 2 years contracts, but until this is the scary part, because if there's so much uncertainty of who's running the sport, are they enforceable? You know, Darren Heitner wrote a really good piece about the Washington quarterback last week, and I just, without collective bargaining, are these contracts enforceable? Well, I know exactly when it was. It's when Michigan State did it, Michael. That's a generation ago. 2000, I believe. David, the AP has Sparty at 12, but that John Rothstein that I follow has him at 10. That's 4 Big Ten teams in the top 10. Is this the year they finally get their natty?
Well, don't you think it's going to come down to the Big Ten? Like, don't you think we could have a lot of region finals in which it's Big 10, Big 12?
Yeah.
I mean, outside of UConn, name me a school outside of, unless you're going to go Duke, but
Duke and Gonzaga. I mean, but yeah,
I think it's going to be Big Ten. The Elite Eight's going to be Big 10, Big 12, UConn, and Duke.
It's all for the Gators. They seem to be playing better of late.
Tell you what, I'd love to see Alabama go as deep as possible. That is a fun team to watch play.
Got that right. So, David, now, again, we got to wait for lines. But right now, 1, 2, 3. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11.
Where we got ranked teams on the road.
13 ranked teams on the road against unranked teams on Saturday. That doesn't mean they'll all be favorites.
Right.
13 ranked teams on the road.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. That's when we're done. We're out of here. Our week's over. Go get your fix somewhere else. Although you could go to millerandmoulton.com. I mean, you probably didn't listen to all 20 hours this week. So
And there
download
been some pretty good hours.
Yeah.
We've had a good week. We've had a fun week. A lot of good guests, a lot of good content. At least we think so. You might not, but
right.
We think we did our job.
Besides, it's free.
We give ourselves a better grade than we just gave Underwood for our week.
Yes. Yes.
I think this was B+, A- work, depending on what state you were in.
And we did it for far less than $3 million.
But we'd like to do it for $3 million.
We would. And we would have no problem signing a long-term deal with no raises even.
None whatsoever.
In fact, I think we'd split $3 million. It wouldn't even have to be each.
Think?
In fact, I'll go out on a limb. I'll even splurge for a producer. And it could all come out of my salary. You could just keep yours. Okay? I'll be like the Dodgers. I'll just spend money. I got it.
You know, David, I'll defer my portion for the producer.
Well played. Very well played. Outstanding.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Little fun fact for you to start, because many of you probably know this. I do like my history, but I did not know this. Today in 1917, the Zimmerman telegram is sent from Germany to Mexico, offering a promise of Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico being given to Mexico in return for joining World War I if the U.S. enters on the Allied side. British intelligence intercepts the communication, deciphers it by the next day. Its release in March shifts the U.S. public opinion in favor of war against Germany. So there you go. 1919. What's that?
Did you say Texas, New Mexico, Arizona?
Yeah.
Huh.
How about that?
I was going to say, no player to be named later, international signing bonus, nothing?
Nothing. 1919, The 18th Amendment to the Constitution, authorizing prohibition of alcohol, is ratified by the majority of the U.S. states.
How miserable must we have been? I mean, what in the world?
But it was, like I just told you, Ford was a big guy behind that. He hated alcohol, and he was big on pushing it. So you had some big money, like anything else in this world, pushing behind this.
I understand, but I can't believe you didn't have the masses go, hey, we're making like 38 cents.
Right.
All right.
Because the masses have always determined things, not rich people. Come on. 1938, Benny Goodman. Jazz Benny Goodman breaks through cultural barriers to play the first ever jazz concert at Carnegie Hall. Today in 41, U.S. Vice Admiral Bellinger warns of an assault on Pearl Harbor. Today in 45, Hitler moved into his bunker. He would live there until he killed himself. Gordie Howe becomes the NHL's all-time scoring leader, passing Maurice Richard today in 1960. The Whiskey A Go-Go opened in L.A. today in 63. A couple of bands have played there. Chicago gets the Bulls today in 66. It's the third NBA franchise to the city. The Stags played there in the 40s to 50. The Packers/Zephyrs played after that. They're now the Washington Wizards. Today in 1970, Curt Flood filed a civil lawsuit challenging baseball's reserve clause.
He lost, but he won.
Super Bowl VI today at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans. The Cowboys beat the Dolphins 24-3. The final episode of Bonanza airs today on NBC in 1973. 440 episodes. Peter Frampton released Frampton Comes Alive today in 76.
A monster.
Huge. The Shah of Iran flees for Egypt during the Iranian Revolution today in 79.
Yeah, nothing eventful happened after that.
No, not at all.
It was very, very peaceful transition, and it's, bunch of stability since.
Right. Today in 81, Leon Spinks, the boxer, is mugged. It was so bad that his assailants even take his gold teeth. Today in 91, basically Operation Desert Storm began. The bombing missions of Iraq.
And you know how we knew that?
CNN.
We turned on the television.
A year later, Eric Clapton performed an episode of MTV's Unplugged. It would become the best-selling live album of all time.
Remember when MTV was, around?
Remember when it played music?
Yeah.
Today in 96, Jamaican police mistake Jimmy Buffett for a drug smuggler and shoot at his plane after it lands in the water. Bono from U2 was on board with his family along with the head of Island Records. The plane was hit a few times, shattering a windshield and doing some damage to the fuselage, but no one was hurt. Bono thought they were all going to die. Buffett, like only he could, turned the incident into a song, Jamaica Mistaka. Dizzy Dean would have celebrated a birthday today. AJ Foyt is 91 and could still kick your ass.
Or at least threaten to.
Movie director John Carpenter did all the slasher movies at 78. Sade, she's a smooth operator. She's 67.
Look at you.
I love that song. Kate Moss is 52. Albert Pujols is 46. And Joe Flacco's 41. What did I miss, David?
I was a little surprised. There was no pause with Kate Moss.
Oh, well. Yes.
No?
Yes.
I didn't.
We all know what the answer to the question is. The answer is yes.
I just didn't know if there were, with some ladies, you pause for some, I pause for other. I just was curious if Kate Moss was going to get a pause. That's all.
Fair enough. All good. Miss anything? No.
No, I had 5 things written down. You were just a ching, got them all.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you got, Mark?
We go to Washington in the Pacific Northwest for the good, where fortunately police responded and thwarted a break-in at a retirement home. The Auburn Police Department said on social media that officers arrived at Wesley Homes to find a goat trying to attempt entry into the building. The goat was safely detained until a friend of the owner arrived to pick her up. The goat, named Ruby, posed for a photo with the officers before being taken home. Police officers wrote charges were dropped due to extreme adorableness. For the bad, we go to Portugal, where a recovery crew we go to Ireland, where Portuguese crabs, a truck full of crabs, delivering crabs to the restaurant, tipped, setting 15,000 crabs free on the road. Worth up to $70,000, spilled all over the place. And finally, the ugly. We go to Inglewood, Florida, always up to no good, where 18-year-old Isaac Hurley thought he was going to make some money. You see, he wants to be an influencer. So he took a TikTok challenge and tried to stay inside a Walmart for 24 hours. Employees found out he was live streaming and called Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, who arrested him after the store was closed. The only thing he really did is open a phone charger because he was live streaming and he didn't have enough battery juice. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, Friday, January the 26th. And it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, offering great pay, great benefits, other jobs available. For more information, capecops.com. That's capecops.com.
5 hockey games tonight. Both the Panthers and Lightning in action on the road. Panthers in Carolina, Lightning in St. Louis. What is it, 12 in a row, Lightning?
I think 11. Tonight would be 12, I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I don't know. It's a lot.
Franchise record.
You are correct. Tied. So a chance to set it tonight. You are right. It is at 11. NBA tonight. I've lost track. Apparently it's an ESPN doubleheader. Didn't they have one Wednesday?
I
David.
I just turn on my YouTube TV and it tells me what games are on. I don't even care what network anymore.
It's Cleveland and the Sixers at 7:00, and T-Wolves Rockets at 9:30, both on the 4-letter network. 2 of the 6 games going on tonight. Friday's never a good college hoop night.
No, it's not.
All right. I mean, I will say Baylor, Kansas is on Fox at 8:00.
Neither team ranked. Baylor has done since the pro essentially joined the Baylor Bears. I don't know if they've won, David.
Well, also, I don't even know if he scored.
Right. He's not played hardly at all.
No, he played 4 minutes the other night. Colorado State, Boise State, 10:30 on FS1. Marquette DePaul at 8:30 on FS1. Hell, Mark, Creighton Providence at 6:30.
That's my game. You know that.
Yeah.
Creighton, a 1.5-point favorite on the road. But tomorrow, I tell you.
Here we go.
There are potentially, and the lines come out in the morning for college hoop. There are right now 13 ranked teams on the road against unranked teams. It does not mean that all 13 will be favored, but there is the potential of a baker's dozen.
Unreal.
System plays tomorrow. And there are ranked teams playing ranked teams tomorrow, like Vandy and Florida in a big SEC game. So a huge college basketball day in and around a couple of NFL games.
Something also worth mentioning, PGA Tour season's underway, and it is unusually cold here in the Sunshine State. By the way, above freezing in Jacksonville for the first time today. Hey. But so if you just want to, see, normally those of us in Florida aren't turning on golf to see warm weather. But for today, maybe. Hawaii, Sony Open this afternoon on the Golf Channel. All right. Tomorrow, 4:30 and 8 o'clock, CBS and Fox. Nance and Romo. Let's see if Romo can rebound from, a performance in which I haven't seen a network analyst get filleted publicly.
Does he know the Broncos? He'll know Buffalo because he's done a lot of Buffalo games over the last couple of years. Right. Will he have any idea who plays for the Denver Broncos?
He should. He did like 3 of their games in November and December.
Okay. All right. So despite not doing his homework, it has already been done for him because he's broadcast enough of these games.
Right. And fortunately for him, both head coaches are named Sean. Okay, so that's good also.
I wonder if he'll call the game whoever wins being a big upset, considering the point spread's 1.5.
Right. Or if, like he did last week, he'll call one of the teams that rate for it an overdog.
Yep, and overdog. 20+ million a year for overdog and noises. That's about what he's giving us now.
And had no idea.
He is stealing. He is literally stealing from CBS.
So CBS and Fox tomorrow, 4:30 and 8. ABC, ESPN at 3 on Sunday. NBC Peacock at 6:30. Weather should be a factor on Sunday, not expected to be a factor on Saturday in the NFL playoffs. Do with it what you'd like. So,
by the way, you mentioned the 2 Florida teams in the NHL. I'll do it because it's my team. But Celebrini at Detroit tonight, and it's a 7 o'clock game on the NHL Network.
Oh.
So I don't get to watch it with Plus. It's one of the, and I don't get NHL Network with YouTube TV.
Bummer.
That's a kick right in the teeth.
Bummer.
All right. I'll watch the Panthers and Lightning. I got no problem with that.
One thing to remember tomorrow, if there was an upset in either game, that means the other conference playoff game on Sunday, the winner knows they're hosting the AFC or NFC title game because both 1 seeds in action tomorrow. If either lose, the Sunday teams know they get to host next week. Miller and Moulton, have a great rest of your day and weekend. We'll talk on Monday.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Lee County Economic Development will release its 2025 annual report on February 5th at their annual meeting. It's a powerful look at our local economy, highlighting key data, emerging trends, and performance from the past year. The report covers major industries, workforce initiatives, business growth, and partnerships that drive Lee County forward. For more information about the annual meeting and the Economic Development Office, visit leecountybusiness.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Play all night, play all day. Experience more in paradise. At Seminole Casino Hotel, we're bringing you more. With real cards and real dealers 24/7, this is the place where the action never ends. Now you can bet on your favorite team, roll the dice on craps, or spin the wheel for roulette. We've got your game. Plus, the Zigzag Girls Blackjack Pit features nonstop excitement and free drinks while you play. This is Seminole Casino Hotel, minutes away from more. For more information, visit moreinparadise.com. Must be 21 to play slots and table games. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
This is Miller and Moulton.